This is a paint-by-number community project that is pre-traced and all paint and supplies are provided. Call 575-513-0143 or 575-703-8223. Eddy County has officially transitioned to its new website and email domain, eddycountynm.gov. Existing website links and email addresses will continue to forward for the next several months, ensuring a smooth transition. The move enhances security, strengthens public trust, eddycountynm.gov. To have your event listed on the KSVP community calendar, email calendar@ksvpradio.com. Please let us know at least 1 week in advance.
This is KSVP and K229 AS Artesia.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. Armit Thomason. One eyewitness says they never had a chance. People scrambled to escape a towering wall of water, mud, and debris. It came roaring down the mountainsides of Nepal and neighboring Tibet, sweeping away everything and everyone in its path.
Over 1,000 people have been left missing on the Nepal-China border after a series of floods caused by a glacier collapse swept through the area. Rescue teams in Nepal are scrambling after a catastrophic and deadly torrent of floods and mud swept through several communities, leaving hundreds of people dead. More than 1,300 remain missing, including foreigners and pilgrims. Hundreds of residents across the Himalayan region were displaced. Videos of the tragedy showed the floods swallowing up people as they tried to escape. Drone footage from Nepal on Thursday showed the scale of the destruction. I'm Karen Shamas.
An ICE officer charged with shooting a man in Minneapolis and then lying about it has been released from a Texas jail. This after Minnesota's demand for the agent's immediate extradition was rejected by a judge. New weapon to be deployed in the fight against pancreatic cancer.
It's called daraxonrasib with the brand name Rasanq. The daily pills block a mutated protein that fuels tumor growth in more than 90% of pancreatic cancer cases. Patients who got the new treatment live for a median of 13.2 months, compared with 6.7 months for people on chemotherapy. One oncologist says this is not a cure, but it's the best option they've ever had. Pancreatic cancer is among the most deadly forms because it is hard to detect before it starts spreading to other organs. Earlier this year, former Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse described on CBS's 60 Minutes how he had less pain while taking daraxonrasib. Ed Donahue, Washington.
The Dow futures down 120 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-2085. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-2085 or biglou.com.
Closing arguments are set to begin in the murder trial of Lindsay Clancy, the Massachusetts mother accused of killing her 3 young children several years ago.
Prosecutors say Miss Clancy deliberately sent her husband out to get dinner, calculated how long he'd be gone, and used that time to strangle the children before attempting to take her own life. The defense says she was suffering from postpartum psychosis after repeatedly seeking help, reporting suicidal thoughts, and warning that she had considered harming her children. This case has shocked America. Supporters say a seriously ill mother was failed by the medical system. Others argue sympathy for Lindsay Clancy has overshadowed the deaths of the 3 children. A murder conviction would mean life in prison without parole.
The BBC's Shaima Halil. Another tanker attack has been reported in the Strait of Hormuz. The UK Maritime Trade Organization says another oil tanker has been hit by an unknown projectile in that strategic waterway. News and analysis, townhall.com. Judge declines to let Steve Bannon off the hook.
A federal judge has rejected the Justice Department's request to dismiss Trump ally Steve Bannon's criminal conviction, refusing to testify before the congressional committee that investigated a mob's January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. But the order may not be final. U.S. District Judge Carl Nichols ruled that prosecutors failed to properly explain their motivations for seeking the dismissal of Bannon's indictment. However, the judge says the government is free to renew its request. Bannon already served a 4-month prison term after a jury convicted him of contempt of Congress in 2022. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
A Maryland court says a Democrat-friendly redistricting amendment cannot go on the November ballot. Democrats already hold 7 of the state's 8 U.S. House districts. They had hoped to get that 8th seat. More on these stories, townhall.com.
I pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Broadcasting in 2026, one of our longest-running features is the KSVIP. We love recognizing our local residents and listeners for great accomplishments in their lives. If it's a birthday, anniversary, promotion, retirement, a new family member, you name it, they're worthy of being a KSVIP. To nominate a special person who will receive recognition on the radio and a flower from Nell's Floral, call 575-746-2751.
Good morning, Artesia. It's Thursday, August 27th, 7 o'clock hour. I'm your host, Scott Pettis. Glad to be back on the air with you. Hey, we've got an interesting lineup today. 7 o'clock hour will be me. 8 o'clock hour will be me. The 9 o'clock hour will be me. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. No guests today, so you get a lot of me and Jeff. And we're gonna jump all over the map today, and we'll see where this thing leads us, and we'll talk about a little bit of everything. So stick with us today, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. So, but before we do that, hey, let's go hear our weather, and we'll come back with our calendars.
I'm meteorologist meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty hot today. We're going up to about 100, and it should stay sunny. We have a little system rolling through overnight that may bring us a few showers or thunderstorms, and we're down around 70 on the low. Right back to sunny weather on Friday, upper 90s to about 100. We're expecting highs near 100 on Saturday, and then we get low 100s on Sunday. We'll stay sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
All right, Artesia. Hey, man, I'm looking at the weather scroller here, and Hobbs only has to get up to 92 today, and they get a bunch of clouds. Roswell's at 100, Carlsbad 100, Artesia 99, and we don't even get any clouds today. So I'm looking at the 10-day, and it's 100, 100, 100, 100, and 100, and it just keeps going. So, yeah, it was, and yesterday wasn't too bad. A little humid out there, but the weather was good. And it's just going to be another warm day here in Artesia. Let's see what's on our calendars. What are you guys eating today? Over at the Artesia Public Schools cafeteria, let's see, they're going to have for breakfast a breakfast sandwich with egg and turkey sausage and cheese, some fresh fruit juice, and a choice of milk. At lunch, steak fingers, mashed potatoes and gravy, peas and carrots, dinner roll, pineapple tidbits, and a choice of milk. At the senior meal site today, you guys are going to be having meatloaf au gratin, and those are potatoes. Au gratin potatoes, Brussels sprouts, pea salad, and roll, some apple slices, and an oatmeal cookie. Sounds like too bad of a lunch over there today. All right, at the senior center, what do you guys got going on? 8:15 exercise video, 9 o'clock painting, line dancing at 9:30, bridge at 1, Swedish weaving at 1:30, 2 o'clock Texas Hold'em, and 2:30 is stained glass. Tonight, the dance, 7 to 9:30 with Mari Lynn, and some finger foods. At the Artesia Public Library today, 12 to 1 is Literary Lounge. Let's see. At the Artesia Public Schools today, what do they got happening? Let's see. Junior high 8th grade O volleyball at Berendo Sierra at 4 and 5 o'clock. They're it's played at Sierra. And then junior varsity girls soccer versus Clovis here tonight, 4:30 and 6:30. And then junior varsity and varsity volleyball at Alamogordo today, 5 and 6 o'clock. Who's got a birthday on the 27th of August? Happy birthday to Margie Aragon, Gary Ryback, Kay Rourke, Mildred Williams, and Dan Smolik. You guys have an awesome birthday.
Big win tonight. Everybody's celebrating and the drinks are flowing. And then somebody decides they're totally fine to drive. That's when every potential driver needs a timeout.
Think you can drink and drive? Terrible play.
Luckily, a sober friend steps in and offers a ride home instead. And just like that, crisis avoided. If someone's been drinking, get them a safe ride home.
Play on!
Make the right call. Help end DWI. Brought to you by NMDOT.
Unlock the power of effective financial control with First American Bank's wide range of products to help you manage the inflow and the outflow of your cash while gaining efficiency and maximizing profitability. Plus, with robust security measures available through our treasury management products, you'll have greater peace of mind knowing you have taken steps to protect your money. Let us be your partner in growth and success, because when you succeed, we do too. First American Bank, your local first community bank since 1903. Member FDIC.
Deans Incorporated is one of the premier industrial electrical service providers serving southeastern New Mexico and West Texas with the pledge to exhibit professionalism in all they do. Crews trained and experienced in all phases of oil field electrical automation and overhead distribution systems, as well as underground medium voltage systems, and technicians trained in a wide variety of communication systems. Call Deans today, 575-748-3400 in Artesia or 575-941-2627 in Carlsbad. Deans Incorporated. Service you can trust.
Tired of waiting at the dealership? Artesia Ford Sales brings expert Ford mobile service right to your home or office in Artesia. Our certified technicians perform oil changes, tire rotations, brake inspections, battery service, fluid checks, and more, while you stay productive. Enjoy complimentary service at your convenience. No hidden fees for the visit. Same Ford quality and warranty, plus time saved for what matters most. For 60 years, our family has taken care of yours. Call Artesia Ford Sales today and schedule your mobile service.
Searching for a church that honors God? Come to First Church Artesia at 4th and Grand. We're a family of believers putting Christ first, preaching the Bible with reverence and uniting all ages in family-integrated worship. Sundays at 10:45 a.m., experience the timeless truth and heartfelt praise. We're reaching Artesia with the good news, living all of Christ for all of life. Check out artesiareform.com or find us on Facebook, First Church Artesia, where faith thrives.
Life on a ranch doesn't stop at the front door, and your internet shouldn't either. Smart Ranch extends your existing PVT internet up to a mile across your property, keeping you connected from the house to the barn, the workshop, or bunkhouse. Built tough for the outdoors and designed for wide open spaces, Smart Ranch is a smart solution for rural living. Learn how Smart Ranch can work on your property. Visit pvt.com to get started.
Check out the savings this week at Fens Country Market in Artesia. Select 10 packs of Capri Sun pouches are 2 for $6. And select varieties of banquet pot pies are 5 for $5. In produce, extra large black, green, or red seedless grapes are $2 a pound. And New Mexico green chili are just $1 a pound. In the meat department, choice T-bone steaks are $11 a pound. And family packs of boneless sirloin cut pork chops are $2 a pound. These are just some of the savings this week at Fens Country Market in Artesia.
You thought it was loving to do this.
Want to come back to my place?
Which resulted in this. What is loving is paying your child support. To support them. Do the loving thing and pay your child support today.
Payment processed. Payment received.
Contact the Child Support Services Division and meet your monthly obligation for your children. Visit yes.nm.gov or call 1-800-283-4465. Brought to you by the HCA, the NMBA, and this station.
All right, Artesia. Hey, we aren't even 20 minutes into the show and already got to make a correction. There is no soccer game tonight. We went back to the calendar and looked, and it's not on there. So it looks like they may have moved that. So no soccer game tonight. All right, well, let's jump into today's Bible verse and lesson. Hang on, folks. This one's going to be maybe be a bit of a long one. Let's see where it goes. Came about from our men's and women's studies this week that we're working through, and this week was on parenting, and it was talking about that we can trust the promises of God in generational faith, and those things aren't gained by works, but yet they're gained by faith alone, and it led me to a verse, and it led me to a topic that I wanted to discuss a little bit today. Let's just jump right into it. We're in 2 Corinthians 5. 2 Corinthians 5. And I'm going to go start with verses 4 through 9. And then we're going to move around a little bit in Scripture today. But in 2 Corinthians 5, Paul writes this. He says, "For while we are still in this tent," speaking of our earthly body, "we groan, being burdened. Not that we would be unclothed, but that we would be further clothed, so that what is mortal may be swallowed up by life. He who has prepared us for this very thing is God, who has given us the Spirit as a guarantee. So we are always of good courage. We know that while we are at home in the body, we are away from the Lord, for we walk by faith and not by sight." And it was that last portion that the author of our book had made a point about, and I really kind of grabbed onto. He says we walk by faith, and what does he mean there? He's talking about to live one's life, right? It's the Hebrew for to live and to regulate one's life, to conduct oneself. So we conduct ourselves by faith. We live our life by faith. We often, I think most of us as Christians, most accept that we're saved by faith, right? That our eternal soul is given to God, and that we are saved by faith, right? So that's the start of our Christian life, our Christian walk. But Paul's here saying that all of our life, everything in life, is by faith, not by sight, right? By faith, not by works. And what is he saying there? He's what he's pointing at is this: is that it's not just that we start by faith, but we live our whole life by faith, right? We claim the promises of God by faith. The promises of God are given to us by faith, not by our works, not by what we do. And how does that work out? You know, in our parenting book, what we're talking about is that in Acts 2, when Peter is preaching to the people at Pentecost, he says, "And this promise is to you and to your children and to all who are far off." Right? So he makes this generational promise about our children. And we go back to Deuteronomy, and it says that God is faithful unto 1,000 generations who keep his covenant. Right? And so how do we keep God's covenant? Well, many people look at that and think, well, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this. And that's how we retain God's favor, right? No. It's by faith. And so then we go, well, where do we find the example of what that looks like? What does it mean just to have faith? And what does it mean to rest in our faith? And if we go to Romans 4 and Galatians, both of those point back. Galatians 3, they all point back to one person, to Abraham. Abraham is the picture of the covenant of faith for us. He's the one who shows us what faith looks like. In Genesis 15, we read about God's covenant with Abraham. Excuse me. And Abraham, is speaking to God here, and he says, "You've given me no offspring, and a member of my household will be my heir." Right? He says that I'm going to have to give everything I own. Abraham was quite a wealthy man. Abraham was quite he was a king in his own right of his people, but he had no offspring of his own. But he had all these people, these goods, these people that followed him, and everything else, right? And he said, "I'm going to have to give all this to a member of my household," meaning one of my servants, one of my slaves. And the word of the Lord came to him and said, "This man shall not be your heir; your very own son shall be your heir." And he brought him outside, and he says, "Look towards heaven and number the stars, and if you're able to number them, Then to him he said, so shall your offspring be. And he believed the Lord, and it was counted to him as righteousness. Abraham's, pushing up on 100 years old at this point, and his wife's old, and he has no offspring, and he's like, oh, okay, I trust you that what you're saying is true. He had no proof. He had nothing laid before him to guarantee it. He had no plan. Well, if I do this and this and this, maybe Sarah can have an offspring. And then we jump over to Genesis 17. In this verse, in the 15th verse, it says, and God said to Abraham, as for Sarah your wife, you shall not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name, and I will bless her. Moreover, I will give you a son by her. I will bless her, and she shall become nations. Kings of people shall come from her. At this point, what is Abraham? Abraham's so confused by this, he falls on his face and he laughs. Shall a child be born to a man who's 100 years old? Shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child? Right? It was, to them, it was absolute insanity at that point. And, God continues to press him on and guarantee him, and he gives them a son, Isaac. And then in Genesis 22, what does God tell him to do with that son? After these things, God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham, he said, here I am. He said, take your son, your only son, Isaac, whom you have loved, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I shall tell you. So Abraham rose early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and took two of his young men and his son Isaac. He cut the wood for a burnt offering and rose and went to the place which God had told him. On the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from afar. And he tells the men, stay here with the donkey. I and the boy will go over there and worship and come to you again. Now, there's an interesting point in this right here, what he says to his servants. He knew what he was coming to do. He knew he was coming to sacrifice his son. He was going to follow through. He's obviously following through with what God says. But he tells his servants before he even goes, we're going to go over to worship and we will come back. Okay? There's an interesting thing in here. Now we can look at this in a couple of ways. Either Abraham didn't actually intend to sacrifice, or he believed that God would give him something else to sacrifice. Or he believed that whatever this sacrifice was, God was going to still give him his son. Why? Because he had faith in the promise that this son would produce nations. This son would produce kings of nations. That's a level of faith I know I would struggle to have. That's a level of faith that, here he is going to go sacrifice his son before the Lord. And there's arguments on this. He goes on later, he says God will provide him for himself the lamb. So it could have been that he fully expected God to provide that ram. But I think it's more likely to see this, that Isaac was a picture of Christ as he was. And Abraham believed that whatever happened, if he sacrificed his son, he would still have a son the next day. That God would raise him from the dead, or that God wouldn't let him die. He trusted the promise of God by faith because he had nothing else. And yet he was obedient. He didn't argue with God. He didn't push back. He didn't have another plan. He said, very well, God, you've said to do this. I will walk in absolute faith. And that's the picture. That's the picture that we see in Galatians 3. When it says, you foolish Galatians, who's bewitched you? It was before your eyes that Jesus Christ was publicly portrayed as crucified. Let me ask you only this. Did you receive the Spirit by works of the law, or by hearing by faith, with faith? Are you so foolish? Having begun by the Spirit, are you now being perfected by the flesh? Did you suffer so many things in vain, if indeed it was in vain? Does he who supplies the Spirit to you and works miracles among you do so by works of the law, or by hearing with faith? just as Abraham believed God and it was counted to him as righteousness. Know then that it is those of faith who are the sons of Abraham. There's an interesting phrase in there. It goes, having begun by the Spirit, are you now being perfected by the flesh? That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's what Paul was saying over in Corinthians. We walk by faith and not by sight. So how is it that we're to take and live by faith? Well, when I go to Scripture, I believe what it says. When it says that the promise is to my children and to my children's children after that, I have faith in that. I don't trust in my works. I don't trust that I pick the right amount of church going activities. I don't trust that I picked the right perfect education. I don't trust that that I did the right amount of discipline in the right way, and I prevented them from watching television. I did this. So many of us out there have all these. Well, if you want this outcome, you just need to do this. As we were discussing this, it was brought up by others that, like, as a parent, and mothers especially have to put up with this and tolerate this. Is, well, if you just do it this way, your kid's going to turn out perfect. If you just do I can't believe you're doing it that way, because that way is going to lead to a road to hell. Look, you're trusting in your works at that point. Now, we'll get to the point where there are works to be done. But if you're trusting in your works to produce the perfect outcome, God will make a fool of you. God will make a fool of you. He will show you your foolishness because you trusted that if I just do everything right, everything will turn out perfect. That's not the case of it at all. The point is this. I do what I know, what I believe to be right. I do what I in faith, I go to Scripture and I say, well, Scripture says to do this. I'm going to do this. But not because I trust that it's going to work, but I trust that God said it. I trust that God is going to make things happen. And the beauty of it is I can rest in this, even if I fail at it, even if I do all of these things wrong because I didn't know or because I didn't understand or whatever. I trust that God is going to carry out the result. I trust that my children and my life are in God's hands, and this applies across the board in everything we do. Right? As a minister, as a man who stands behind a pulpit, I don't trust in my preaching. I know it isn't that great. I know that the things I'm doing is not going to save the people in the pulpit or in the pews from my pulpit. I just trust that I'm doing what God has called me to do, and that the outcome of everything else is in His hands. When I counsel people, all I can do is give them the word and say, pray upon this, meditate upon this, because but the outcome is in God's hands. It's not me. I don't trust in anything I do. I know how foolish I am. I know how weak I am, and I know how insignificant I am. When I get behind this microphone and I talk about politics and I talk about life and I talk about all that, I don't trust that that's going to solve the world's problems. It's not. All of that's in God's hands. When Jesus came, He said, the kingdom of God is at hand. Repent and believe. That's it. And I don't even repent because I think that's going to say, I repent because I believe and I have faith. I trust that what God said is if I repent of my sins, He will forgive me. I have no power in that. I just do as He says, like Abraham. I go to the altar with my son and I offer him to God. And I trust that He promises me that He's going to make things right. He's going to be the one that turns everything out right. So Think about this in the application of your life, ladies and gentlemen. When you're walking in fear and anxiety of, well, if I say the wrong thing, this person's going to be upset, or if I live this way, if our household looks like this, people are going to chastise us. And well, if I don't do this exactly right, then I'm going to lose this job or whatever, right? Whatever, like if I say the wrong thing, my life's going to be turned upside down, and it might very well. You might be right. But if God commanded you, if God called you to do these things, you've got to trust that he's going to follow through on his promises of blessing in your life. You've got to trust that what he's doing is for your good. We have a good and perfect Father. And so we're supposed to walk in love for him, right? And to love him is to obey what he's told us about our lives. Our works don't lead to salvation. Our salvation leads to works. Because what did Paul say in Galatians? He goes, having begun by the Spirit, are you now perfected by the flesh? Or are you perfected by the Spirit? Do you not trust the Holy Spirit in you? That when he speaks and he tells you that this is what God has said, and that this is how you're supposed to live your life, this is how you're supposed to order your household, this is how you're supposed to worship God, this is how, all of this. You think that you've got a better way? Ladies and gentlemen, we are called to walk by faith. That means to live our lives by faith. In everything we do, step out on absolute faith in Christ. He's the King of the world. And it leads me to one last final topic. I knew this was going to go long, but I want to close this out before I go to the news break. The way we view the end of the world, right? Many of you have heard me talk about this, and maybe some of you haven't. When God makes all his promises in Scripture regarding his people, regarding the fact that the earth will be full of those who love the Lord as the waters cover the seas, when he says that Jesus sits on a throne until he's put all of his enemies, defeated all of his enemies, and put them beneath his feet as a footstool. When I see all these promises in Scripture of God overcoming evil in this world and defeating Satan, I have no idea how to do that. But I take the Lord in his word, that he's faithful and that he's good. I have a very optimistic view of the end times. I believe that Christ is the victor, and that he's going to do what he promised to do, to give the whole world to his people. And his people are those who are the children of Abraham, the children of faith, out of Galatians 3. We are the children of Abraham, those of us who walk in faith, and that he's going to deliver the whole world over. Nations will stream to him. All of them will bow down to him. When he says to go and make disciples of the nations, he means it. He means that all the nations are to come before him. And so when we think about this nation, I believe that this nation should come before him in repentance and faith. All the details of well, how do we do this as Christian nation? How do we do that as Christian nation? It's all adiaphora. It's extra. We'll figure that out when we get there. But the gospel going forward is victorious. It will win. I believe that when we look at Scripture and all we see is doom and despair for the people of God, that the world's going to get worse. So I don't know if I can say it on air. The world's going to go to hell in a handbasket. When that's our view, I don't see how that's a faithful view to what God has promised in his Scriptures, that he is the victor, that he will win, that his bride will be victorious. So my encouragement is this, ladies and gentlemen: walk in faith in every aspect of your life, whether it be from raising your children, doing your job, running your business, going to work. Go forward and do what God has commanded, and do it in faith, knowing that the outcome is his. And when it comes to an overall view of victory, It really helps to understand that the scripture says God is victorious and that the whole world will be his. Because I can rest in that, man. I have no fears. I have no fears. I know that whatever the outcome is, it's his. And it's perfect. And it's good. Because he says, I do all things for the good of those who love me. All right, Artesia, that's long enough. Let's get to that mid-hour news break, and then we'll come back right after this.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. The U.S. among countries rushing aid to the scene of a catastrophe in the Himalayan region. A massive wall of water, along with mud, boulders, other debris, demolished entire villages in Nepal, neighboring Tibet. At least 1,300 people missing. The death toll now at least 353. A homecoming soon for some U.S. service members who have been at sea for quite a while. After arriving in the Mideast in January, the USS Abraham Lincoln and its crew are on their way back home. Another tanker has been hit with some sort of projectile in the Strait of Hormuz. That's according to the UK's Maritime Trade Organization. Strong demand for NVIDIA's high-end AI chips, sending the company's bottom line soaring. On Wall Street, the Dow futures are down 13 points, while the NASDAQ futures are up 289 points. More details, srnnews.com.
Here's a song for Lowell's Pharmacy, and when it's over, I'll explain why we're called the Family Pharmacy.
You and your family getting all the things you need, where personal service is always guaranteed. Prescriptions fill faster with dependability. That is why we're called the Family Pharmacy.
At Lowell's Pharmacy, we are called the Family Pharmacy. Let me spell it out for you. The F stands for fair prices and everything. The A is for accurate prescription service. M for the many professional services we provide. The I is for immediate service. L for the luxury of getting everything you need in just one place. And the Y is for you.
And that is why we're called the Family Pharmacy.
Lowell's Pharmacy, 612 North 13th, across from the hospital in the Artesia Professional Building. Lowell's Pharmacy.
You saw the headlines. Meta settled. The case 29 state attorneys general built against Facebook and Instagram over before the jury ever ruled. The number is $18 billion. It sounds enormous. I'm Kim Commando for WebRoot. Back to school means more time online. Help protect your family's devices with WebRoot Essentials. Save 62% at webroot.com/Kim. Here's what that number is. Paid in installments over 10 years against revenue north of $200 billion a year, roughly 1% of what the company's worth. And Meta admitted no wrongdoing. You want to know how badly it stung? Meta's stock went up on the news. To say I'm disappointed would be an understatement. The states did win real changes, blocking access at night, age checks, an outside auditor. I hope those hold. But there's no question in my mind that Meta knew exactly what it was doing to 2 generations of children and kept doing it. $18 billion over a decade isn't a punishment. It's a line item. Until that changes, the damage continues. Learn more at getkim.com. It's the first week of school. Your kid gets an email. Your assignment didn't upload. Click here to resubmit. It looks real. It isn't. An AI bot wrote it and coded it perfectly. Cyber criminals are using AI to crank out phishing emails, fake websites, and scam texts. So convincing, even adults fall for them. And kids click so fast. One wrong click can infect every device in your home. That's why my family runs WebRoot Essentials. One subscription covers PCs, Macs, smartphones, tablets, and Chromebooks. Its Web Threat Shield blocks dangerous sites before anyone can click, and threats get quarantined in the cloud, away from your devices. WebRoot also scans 6 times faster and takes up 33 times less space, so that expensive new laptop stays fast. The backpack's packed, now lock down the laptop. My listeners get 62% off. Plans start at just $19 a year. Go to webroot.com/Kim, webroot.com/Kim. That's webroot.com/Kim. I use it, and you should too.
Turpin & Son Mortuary of Artesia presents a listing of today's obituaries. Today we have no obituaries and no reminders. This listing has been presented as a service by Turpin & Son Mortuary of Artesia. We make it personal.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty hot today. We're going up to about 100, and it should stay sunny. We have a little system rolling through overnight that may bring us a few showers or thunderstorms, and we're down around 70 on the low. Right back to sunny weather on Friday, upper 90s to about 100. We're expecting highs near 100 on Saturday, and then we get low 100s on Sunday. We'll stay sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
All right, Artesia. It's still hot out there. I'm jealous of Hobbs right now with their 92 degrees. We're going to hit 100 today and sunny. So, hey, let's jump into some of our flyers and see what's going on everywhere. All right, blood drive. Let's see. Today is the 27th. Hey, today, Artesia Public Library. The Bloodmobile is going to be here from noon to 3:30 p.m. They're also going to be up in Roswell today at 3 Grand Avenue Plaza from 10 to 1:30. So if you're in the Roswell, Artesia area today, make sure you go and give blood. All right. Desert Dreams College Goals. Welcome back night. ENMU Roswell student engagement. Tonight, Thursday, August 27th, or actually today through tonight, from noon to 6 p.m. It's at the courtyard by the bookstore in the PE Center, 52 University Boulevard. It's going to be a petting zoo. That's interesting. A petting zoo at a college welcome back night. All right. Resource booths, vendors, food trucks, a mechanical bull, and a live DJ. This event is open to the community. They're going to be giving away a free T-shirt and prize drawings for ENMUR students. If you'd like more information, call 575-624-7065. Hey, the Carlsbad Public Library is putting on a community garden event today from 6 to 7 p.m. at 101 South Halagueno Street, bringing neighbors together to grow, share, and cultivate a greener future. They said, come on out and join us. Look at that. A lunar eclipse star party. Tonight, 27th from 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. at the Living Desert Zoo and Gardens State Park. This is a free event, so head on out there this evening from 8:30 to 10:30 to check out the lunar eclipse. All right. Artesia football parents and boosters for 2026. The 2026 football season is upon us, and the Artesia football parents and boosters are looking forward to another exciting year of Bulldog football. They are once again respectfully asking for a donation this season. While they would be happy to take cash donations, they can also use gift certificates from your business or any other items that they can raffle off. Things like coolers, mugs, blankets, or other things to add to a basket. Any donations would be greatly appreciated. There are 3 more home games on the schedule, and of course, always hope for some home playoff games as well. The raffle will be held at the Roswell game on Friday, October 16th. So if you've got stuff to give out and you want to make a donation, all you got to do is give them a call. They've got a number of phone numbers down there. I'll give you the first 2. The first one is 575-200-5340 or 575-513-1973. All right. Zia Intermediate School after school tutoring happens on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 3:30 to 4:20 p.m. And students must have a signed permission slip to attend and must be picked up promptly at 4:20 p.m. If you've got more information, or if you'd like more information, call 575-746-2766. The Artesia Center Artesia Aquatic Center has an update. They say summer isn't over yet. Here's the remaining outdoor pool schedule. They are open through Labor Day weekend, and outdoor pools are only open on the weekends right now. Monday, September 7th, will be the final day of the 2026 Labor Day outdoor pool season. Make the most of the remaining pool season before it comes to a close. The Artesia Arts Council wants to invite you to join them for live music Saturday, August 29th for Hooks and the Huckleberries. Live at the Ocotillo. Doors open at 6. Show is at 7. Pecos Flavors Wine and Brew will be there. For more information, just call 575-746-4212. Or for tickets, go to artesiaartscouncil.com. All right. First Baptist Church in Artesia presents Fifth Saturday Connection, Missions in Action, this Saturday, August 29th at 8 a.m. They'll be meeting in the Total Life Center at 8 a.m., then depart to chosen destinations. They'll be serving a light continental breakfast, and right before they leave, if you'd like more information, you can contact them at 575-513-4881. Okay. What's the movie this weekend? Saturday, the 29th, at the Cavern Theater in Carlsbad is National Cinema Day. Come celebrate with them. All right. And so adults $8, seniors and children $5. All right. First Methodist Church will be holding their Big Fam Block Party Sunday, August 30th, from 5 to 7 p.m. Come out and join them. There'll be water slides, food, and fun times. All right. The Artesia High School volleyball fundraiser is underway. Your support fuels their success. All you have to do is go to fpfans.com/83JD83. And so they're looking for sports donation help. Your donations help cover travel gear, equipment, and more. The Artesia High School Student Council would like to announce the 2026 Homecoming Parade happening Friday, September 18th at 4 p.m. The theme is Welcome to the Jungle, where the Bulldogs reign. The opponents that night will be the Gadsden Panthers. Registration forms are available at Artesia High School, or you can call 575-746-9816. Entries received after Thursday, September 14th will be assessed a $10 late fee. For more information, contact Jennifer Humble at jhumble@bulldogs.org or Ashley Mason at amason@bulldogs.org. The parade's going to be happening on September 18th at 4 p.m., and the game will be at 7 p.m. that night. All right, the Lighthouse Circle, a post-abortive support group for women. The Lighthouse Circle is a confidential support group for women seeking healing in community after experiencing the effects of an abortion. This group is facilitated by leaders with a personal understanding of the impact. Group meets once a month at 610 West Quay in Artesia. If you'd like more information, you can call or text 575-736-6400. Hey, don't forget about Our Lady of Grace Fiesta is coming up. They are looking for vendors. If you're a vendor fees are $200 for the weekend or $150 per day. The event goes on September 19th and 20th, and it's a pretty big party. You get a 10 by 10 booth. You can reserve your spot today and by calling Our Lady of Grace Church office at 575-748-1356. All right. Save the date. Join us in support of breast cancer awareness. Tee off for Tata's Golf and Gala. Tee off in the morning. Let's see, it's happening Saturday, October 3rd. You can join them at 6 p.m. for a fun-filled evening at their gala. For more information and for tickets, you can contact Artesia General Hospital Foundation at 575-736-8178, or you can email foundation@artesiageneral.com. Check out more information about the Artesia General Hospital Foundation at aghfound.com. All right, a couple more minutes. We'll do a few more of these. Hey, in Carlsbad, they're going to be holding an active threat training, a lunch and learn with Detective Wyatt. Join him for practical and informative training designed to increase awareness and preparedness in the workplace and community. This happens Wednesday, September 2nd at noon. The location is at the Pecos River Conference Center in Carlsbad. Lunch will be provided. Please RSVP to Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce, 575-887-6516. All right. The Historical Society of Southeast New Mexico cordially invites you to their 44th Annual Heritage Dinner. And it's going to be at Pepper's Grill and Bar on Tuesday, September 29th. The Gala Event Center. Oh, so it's honoring Pepper's Grill and Bar. It'll be at the Gala Event Center at 3 Petro Drive from Roswell. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. Cocktail hour, 5:30 to 6:30. Dinner at 6:30. It's $90 per person, $700 per table. All you got to do is RSVP by September 4th. For reservations and to pay it forward or donate to RoswellNewMexicoHistory.org, call the office at 575-622-8333. All right, one last one. Family weekend at Elk Camp for Artesia First Baptist Church, happening September 5th and Saturday and Sunday, September 5th and 6th. Please call 575-748-1308 to RSVP. You can bring your own RV tent or tent to camp in. You can also make the 1-hour drive each day and spend the day without camping overnight. All right. So it sounds like they're going to be having some fun up at Elk Camp at Cleve Ranch along the Penasco River. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that'll wrap up this first hour. I thank you for joining us, and make sure. I just hope you stick around to this next hour. I'll get Jeff in here. We'll run through some local news, events, things going on, and we'll just talk a little bit about everything.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. The U.S. stock market drifted through a quiet day of trading after a report said inflation last month was worse than economists expected. The main inflation gauge used by the Federal Reserve to set U.S. interest rates rose at an elevated rate in July, pushing the central bank a step closer to a vote to raise the interest rates in 3 weeks. The so-called PCE index rose 0.2% last month, the government reported Wednesday, higher than the 0.1% forecast. Meta has agreed to pay $17 billion and add stronger child safety measures to its Facebook and Instagram platforms as part of a landmark legal settlement that ended a trial over teen social media addiction and settled claims filed by 47 states. President Donald Trump is considering reviewing beef processing regulations after criticism that existing USDA oversight hurts small ranchers and favors 4 dominant firms controlling 85% of U.S. meatpacking. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Do you have missing teeth or would like them replaced? Well, if you think dental implants are not affordable, think again. At Maupin & Brown Dentistry, their goal has always been to provide the highest quality dentistry in a state-of-the-art office at a reasonable price. They routinely treat patients that have traveled out of town for a consultation but cannot afford the treatment quoted. If this sounds like your story, come in today. As one of New Mexico's largest users of the world-class Nobel implants, they're able to purchase in volume and pass the savings on to you.
So if you're missing a tooth or have loose dentures, call today. They'll take a 3D x-ray to thoroughly evaluate your condition. You'll be given treatment options and an honest evaluation with no hard sell or arm twisting. But don't take our word for it. Just ask one of the thousands of patients they've treated. Maupin & Brown Dentistry, your choice for experienced, affordable, state-of-the-art dentistry. Call 627-0141 or visit maupinbrown.com.
Hey Artesia, are you looking for something beautiful, meaningful, and made right here at home? Come visit Sunflowers at 1010 West Main, your local flower shop that's all about community. From fresh, handcrafted floral arrangements to stunning custom turquoise jewelry and locally made leather goods, we celebrate the artistry of New Mexico every day. Stop by, say hello, and support the heart of Artesia. Call us at 575-748-1010 or visit us online at sunflowersartesia.com. Come celebrate community, connection, and the spirit of Artesia. Sunflowers, where there's joy in every bloom.
Welcome to Answers with Ken Ham. The account of origins presented in the Genesis is a simple but factual presentation of actual events and provides reliable basis for man's worldview and a framework for scientific investigation into the question of the origin and history of life. Answers with Ken Ham is brought to you by Harvest Fellowship at 2307 West Main in Artesia. Call Pastor Ronnie Williams at 746-6195. Now, today's Answers with Ken Ham.
Christians to pay for transgender surgeries? This is Ken Ham, author, speaker, and blogger on science and the Bible. A few years ago, a group of professing Christians were raising money to pay for transgender surgeries as a way to make amends for hurt the church had supposedly caused transgender people. The campaign told people to put your tithe money where your beliefs are. Now this group is ignoring truth. You see, God's word tells us he created male and female. God is our creator, and he has defined us as male or female. Some people who struggle with this issue look to surgery for freedom and peace, but that won't fix their biggest problem. They, like everyone, are sinners separated from God, and it's the gospel that fixes our biggest problem.
Discover answers to the questions of today when you visit our award-winning website at AnswersRadio.com.
From Town Hall, I'm Rich Thomason. The scene almost defies description. A towering wall of water, a mountain of mud and debris engulfing communities along the Nepal-Tibet border, swallowing up people and property in a flash. The BBC's Benita DeHaal says search and recovery efforts are underway amid very harsh conditions.
Were used to search for people and deliver help. Rescue and relief teams are working from bases in Dhunche and Nuakot, two worst hit districts. A BBC reporter from the affected area says there is no electricity, no road access, and no internet. 5 trucks carrying relief supplies have already been sent, with more aid on the way. The United States, China, the European Union, and India have also offered help.
The death toll, at least 353. Authorities say the collapse of a glacier triggered that catastrophe. Alleged 9/11 lead plotter Khalid Sheikh Mohammed scheduled to stand trial June 2028.
The announcement comes just weeks before the 25th anniversary of the most lethal foreign attack on U.S. soil in our nation's 250-year history. The New York Post reports, quote, the mastermind of the 9/11 attacks and 3 other terrorists held at Guantanamo Bay will finally stand trial in 2028, a military judge ruled Wednesday. Government prosecutors requested a January 2027 trial, but the judge rejected that bid and set it for June 5, 2028, citing a slew of pretrial rulings the court needs to make before the proceedings start. Bernie Bennett, Washington.
Closing arguments getting underway in the murder trial of Lindsay Clancy. She's the Massachusetts mother accused of strangling her 3 young children several years ago. She has pleaded not guilty. On Wall Street, stocks have turned mixed. In early trading, the Dow is down about 9 points, while the Nasdaq is 244 points higher, and the S&P is up 28. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Full speed into summer, and if you're thinking about buying a home this year, here's what you need to do first. Get pre-qualified, not once you found the house, now before you even start looking. Here's why. In this market, houses sell in days, sometimes hours. The buyers who win aren't the ones with the highest offer. They're the ones already approved, ready to move, with a lender who can actually close. If you're not pre-qualified, you're a week behind. Maybe that house is gone. Well, I want to tell you about Fellowship Home Loans. For over 20 years, my friends Mike and Brian, guys that I've worked with, they've built Fellowship around one thing, getting loans done for real families with unique situations. They use programs and options that typical lenders don't take the time to explore. Down payment solutions that fit the way people actually live. Everything's done in-house. One roof, one team. All fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike B. Call 805-MIKE. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
There is a move to name an airport after the late Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton fans circulating a petition to rename Nashville International Airport to Dolly Parton International. Dolly was born east of Knoxville and became a megastar in Nashville, where she lived for most of her life. Fellow country music singer Sheryl Crow endorsing the movement, along with Tennessee State Representative Todd Warner, who says he also supports the idea and will promote a bill to make the name change.
Correspondent Laura Winters. China's foreign minister says his country and the U.S. need to overcome obstacles between them ahead of an expected September summit between Presidents Trump and Xi. Wang Yi met U.S. Ambassador to China David Perdue this week. The Chinese state broadcaster reports he called on both sides to focus on a positive agenda, manage differences, remove interference, and overcome obstacles to high-level exchanges. News and analysis at townhall.com. In communities large and small, all around the country, one manifestation of the AI boom is kicking up a storm of controversy, forcing politicians to sit up and take notice.
In the small Nebraska village of Murdoch, now paused plans for 2 potential data centers have sparked the kinds of debates that have raged in cities and towns across the country. And those debates often cut across ideological lines. Some see job opportunities that can help the U.S. compete with China in technology. Others worry about losing farmland and the high amounts of electricity and water needed to power those centers. Keith Peters, Washington.
Strong demand for NVIDIA's high-end artificial intelligence chips, boosting the company's bottom line in a big way. NVIDIA's latest quarterly results blew the doors off Wall Street's expectations. Company reporting a net income topping $59.5 billion. More on these stories at townhall.com.
As KSVP celebrates 80 years of broadcasting in 2026, one of our longest-running features is the KSVIP. We love recognizing our local residents and listeners for great accomplishments in their lives. If it's a birthday, anniversary, promotion, retirement, a new family member, you name it, they're worthy of being a KSVIP. To nominate a special person who will receive recognition on the radio and a flower from Nell's Floral, call 575-746-2751.
Welcome back, Artesia. It's Thursday, August 27th, 8 o'clock hour. I'm your host, Scott Pettis. Hey, we got a full hour of just me and Jeff. We'll find some things to talk about. We'll get you updated on upcoming sports that'll be on KSVP this week, and maybe try to talk about some local events and national events and just try to keep it interesting. So we hope you stick around with us. But before we do that, let's check in on the weather.
Weather this hour brought to you by Southwest Bearing. Under new ownership,
Custom solutions for your heavy equipment. Hydraulic hoses, hose repair, bearings, seals, sprockets, belts, tools, fluids, and fittings.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty hot today. We're going up to about 100, and it should stay sunny. We have a little system rolling through overnight that may bring us a few showers or thunderstorms, and we're down around 70 on the low. Right back to sunny weather on Friday, upper 90s to about 100. We're expecting highs near 100 on Saturday, and then we get low 100s on Sunday. We'll stay sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Helps if you turn the microphone on. All right, Hobbs 92, Roswell 100, Carlsbad 100, Artesia 99. Didn't I say 100 a while ago? I don't know. It's going to be warm out there. It already is. I didn't check to see how much wind we're going to have, but let's see. The wind is going to be, where's it at today? Pretty still. Yeah. Only like the highest today is like 10 miles an hour this afternoon. It's just a light breeze around here. All right. Hey, Jeff's going to come on in here. We're going to jump into a few topics. I think I may have found a good topic to get stuck on. First, we'll talk a little bit about upcoming sports events. Let me pull our calendar up here. It's funny. They gave me touch screens on one set of computers screen, but the other one's not. So I keep trying to touch the wrong screen. Like, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't work. Jeff, I need you to requisition another touch screen. So for this one,
don't touch it, you'll break it.
Yeah, don't touch it, you'll break it. All right, so let's see. What are we showing this weekend for sports events? Oh, he runs away as I ask him a question. So, oh goodness gracious. Well, so I know there's varsity volleyball tonight in Alamogordo at 6, and Jeff's walking back in with his something. He's lost.
Camera was cutting my head off.
Oh. Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. Now I'm a little room,
you need to get one of the remote controls, on iPad. You guys ought to see our fancy new cameras in here. Holy cow. This is professional grade stuff in here now.
That is something I'm pretty sure we can do, but I'm not going to get into that right now. It's
more technology.
It's like when I was in Romania on a mission trip, I was able to log in and adjust the sound on the soundboard at First Baptist.
Yeah.
It's... What do you mean? What's wrong? Hold on. Let me get some internet.
Oh, man. All right. So, varsity volleyball tonight. Are we showing that? No, we're not.
Where
showing
is it?
That. It's in Alamogordo. No. Tomorrow night, I heard there's a football game. I know we might be showing that.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
In Hobbs at 7 p.m.
Yeah, it'll be a good one.
Yeah, it's gonna be a knockdown drag out.
They had a shootout with Roswell High last week.
Yeah, they did. We're watching that all through the game. Like, you guys put up they put up the scores for the other games, and Danny announces them, and it was back and forth, I don't know, how did it end?
60.
But it was like crazy. It was like no defense apparently in the game. It was all offense. It was crazy.
Well, it got to that point. It was like this, like slow, and then all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom.
It was like basketball game scores.
Yeah.
It was like up in the 60s. I don't know who ended up actually winning by the end of that, but it was a lot going back. So we'll have varsity football tomorrow night. And then what? I guess that's all that's showing this weekend.
Make sure you can tune in and watch it. be careful if you're going to Hobbs to watch it.
Yeah.
Their LED lights, they did not install them properly.
Uh-huh.
Instead of getting them set to just get the field like Bulldog Bowl and most stadiums do, they put them where the old school can lights went.
Oh.
And so instead of just hitting the field,
so like lighting up the stands.
The entire stands. And when they
so
score,
if you're Jeff, you will have a seizure.
Yeah, if every time they score, they start flashing and going around.
Yeah.
Not good.
It's crazy, like the stuff we're putting in now and everything. Like going to our games has always been an experience.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's quite the experience. Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
And I can still attend. It's like
and Jeff can still be there.
The Hobbs games, I know I cannot do it's kind of like indoor concerts. You know,
can't do it.
I would love, like a friend watched the Eagles in the Sphere in Las Vegas. So amazing. He's talking about I can't watch a show in there.
Couldn't be there.
It's like my favorite concert ever was Beastie Boys.
Oh yeah.
No way I could survive that. Yeah, that was the intergalactic tour.
Yeah.
With the Ramones opening up.
Oh gosh, we were talking about that last night. Like the stages of music I went through as a kid, you know, and that punk period, you know, with the Ramones and all of that, and gracious, I hadn't listened to them. I used to have a running track when I was in the Corps, and it was all nothing but 80s punk.
Yeah,
and that's what I'd go run to for.
I used to have like I'd call them kind of like my era's theme songs. It was like the theme of that era in my life.
Yeah.
And so there was like some in Chicago, different, not Chicago band, but when I lived in Chicago, different things. And so when I'm in the neurological rehab, so I did the third place after coming out of the coma, I was voluntold I had to work at like a little secondhand bookstore or something to help. It was when I was relearning how to walk and do all that. Well, my phone rang, or it was a message, and the ringtone I had was my era's theme song.
Yeah.
Which was, I Want to Be Sedated. My speech therapist was in there with me.
Like, what?
And she said, what is that? I was like, oh, that's my ringtone. That's not. I'm like, what? She goes, you were sedated. I was like, well, no, technically, I was already in a coma by the time anyone ever saw it, by any doctor saw me. Well, they said, yeah, Jeffrey. And so.
That's funny. That's funny, man. All right. So not a lot on the video tonight, but tomorrow night you can tune in to KSVPTV.com if you can't make it up to Hobbs, and sit back, relax, and watch some good Artesia football. Hey, so I was scrolling through Facebook looking for topics and stuff. Do you know who Pastor Steve Smotherman is?
Yeah.
Yeah, up in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
So,
Troy's brother?
Yeah, it's his brother. So he's supporting Greg Cunningham for CD2, right? And I love Greg. He's awesome, man. He's a great guy. Former recon Marine, cop for like 20 some odd years and everything else. And really hoping he's winning. He's going up against Gabe Vasquez.
Yeah.
So all of the mudslinging is flying. And so Gabe Vasquez, instead of going, instead of going against Greg, he's like, well, I'm going to try to make out Steve Smotherman to look like a kind of a lunatic, crazy pastor. And so he puts out this video, and I guess there was something about there was some trouble with IRS about 5 or 6 years ago with Smotherman. I don't know anything about that, but he made the video make it sound like it's like right now. It's like something that's happening right now and all this.
Yeah.
And then of course he goes on to make it, say that he's a right wing extremist because he's anti-abortion, he's anti-transgender, and he's all of this, right? And so Smotherman came back with a post, and it's pretty long one. I'm not going to sit and read the whole thing,
I'll have to check that out later.
But yeah, and he makes a point. He goes, I am a right-wing extremist if you consider that because I believe life begins at conception, because I believe God made male and female, because I believe marriage is one man and one woman, and because I believe Jesus is the only way to heaven. The world may call that extreme, but heaven calls it obedience. Conviction over comfort, truth over tolerance, Christ over culture. And it leads me back to what I was talking about in the first hour. It's like I don't know the man that well. I know he exists. I know he's got a big church. I know they're fairly they seem to be doing some good things up there. And if he's preaching those things, I can at least say he's standing on the right side of history, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I look at that and I go, that's what faith looks like.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, look, I'm going to say the things that need to be said about culture. I'm going to say the things that Scripture says about life and walking in faith and what that looks like. And, come what may.
Yeah.
And so I was quite impressed with that. It says he put down there, he says, voters are smarter than this.
Yeah.
Vote your biblical worldview. And, people come in there and post. And of course, like the second reply to it is this guy. Keep politics out of the pulpit. Focus on the needs of the people, unity and being a good witness. Then you won't have these problems. Like you can't, you just said keep politics out of the pulpit. And then everything you said after that, my friend, focus on the needs of the people.
Right.
Okay. Well, politics, like politics is what drives our political sphere, our magistrate.
Yeah.
You have to deal with, if you want to deal with the needs of the people, you got to deal with politics. Unity. Unity in what?
Right.
Just generalized unity. We're just all to be unified no matter what.
Yeah.
Like you can't be unified with worldviews that are contradictory. I can't even think of a better word.
Contradictory.
Contradictory that with one another, right? You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you deal with, I think it's funny. Like people want to create all these weird little spheres. Well, politics is over here. My job's over here. Education's over here. Church is over here.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's one circle, guys, ladies and gentlemen. It's one thing, and Christ overlays it all. If you pull the Christ out of that, then all these other circles have no standard for how you view them. You're walking on faith, but you're walking on the faith of you. Oh, I trust me. I trust my reason. I trust my thoughts. Right? Like how much despair is in that? Because if any of us are even slightly honest, the smartest man alive is an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I'm not that bright. I just...
The older I get, the more I realize the less I actually know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And before the brain injury and everything, like, when I was a kid, I was the smartest person in the world. And no one could ever convince me I wasn't until I came out of the coma. And then I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But in reality, in my mid-20s, I was like, okay, I don't know. My dad was not an idiot. He was giving me good advice because he knew.
Yeah.
He'd already been through life before. Yeah. He understood.
As the parent of young adults.
You understand.
I feel that.
It's kind of like, oh, I'm sorry. Kind of like apologizing to my mom after I got the prescription for naps. And so I apologized. I'm like, hey, when I was a little kid and I wouldn't take a nap.
Yeah.
I'm really, really sorry because now I have a piece of paper.
Yeah. Now I really want to take naps.
And doctors tell me I can go.
I would love to have nap time in the middle of my work day. That would be wonderful. All right, it's nap time. Oh, sweet.
Like Wayne's World. Game on.
Game on. Game off.
Game off. Let's go.
Yeah. I tell you, man, I don't know. I look at the world of politics and everything else. And even I think I'm sometimes often guilty of this is I get honed in on one thing. And I forget that overlying understanding that Christ is sovereign even over this.
Yeah.
I there's sometimes you just, especially if you're a guy like me, you know, you just go, work. You know, sometimes you forget that like I'm not responsible for the outcome of this.
Right.
You know, and when something doesn't go right, you beat yourself up constantly. Oh, if I had only done this, if I had only done that, it wouldn't have mattered. The outcome that came out.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you did, is the outcome God had planned. Oh man, now that starts to hit you. Like, okay. Now, as we look to the future, we can't control what's coming. We can control our actions in each and every day. That's it.
Yeah.
All you have is today. Tomorrow's over, or yesterday's over, and tomorrow's not guaranteed.
Right.
So what are you going to do with today? Are you going to walk in faith? Are you going to do everything you can to do the good works that God laid out before you? Right. Ephesians 4 is, says that we were saved by grace through faith, but to good works that He had planned before the beginning of time for you. Okay. All right. I can rest in that, man.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. All right. I just get up today, be faithful again today.
And that understanding for me of it's my choice, my free will that God gave me to live my life, to experience time. He gave me the guidebook. It follow how Christ lived. It's a perfect example of what God created us for. And knowing that I cannot do every single thing correctly. I can't do it. It used to always upset me, similar to like the seizures at the press box. I was out of control. I couldn't control what was happening in the press box, the problems that were going on. And I ended up with a seizure.
Yeah.
It's all these little, no matter what I choose or what I do, God's will is going to happen, whether I'm a part of it or not, but it's still my choice to make myself a part of His plan.
Yeah.
Because He's got one. And I've made mine, but they don't always fit right in.
Yeah.
And it's that I think, I have to do this. I have to do this. Well, if I didn't get it done and it has to be done, someone else got it done.
Yeah.
Someone else made those same choices to put them in the place to make that choice that I wasn't there.
Yeah. And it's what's amazing about the Christian life is you mentioned the term free will. Well, I won't use the scary word that everybody calls me on the air, but I'm reformed. I believe that God is sovereign in all things, right?
Yeah.
The story is written from beginning to end. And but there's no contradiction to will, right? We just dropped the word free from it because your will is either enslaved to Christ or it's enslaved to Satan, right? There's no middle ground where we set out there in this thing like, but you have a will. You have a will in this, and you're right. You get to make the choice every single day.
Yeah.
Do you want to follow after Christ or will I follow after Satan? There is no other middle ground between those two.
Yeah.
That's the scary part of it, ladies and gentlemen.
The book was opened. Do you want to read pages from the good or the evil? Well, there's 2 pages.
Yeah.
Which one are you going to be reading and walking through?
That's what I was talking about on Tuesday and in my sermon last week is the big story is the battle of good and evil. That's what the whole Bible is about, the battle of good and evil. And when you read it, what you find out is, well, if you're on this side, this is, if you're on Christ's side, this is how you're supposed to live. And if you choose to live on the other side, you're not on Christ's side. You're either with me or against me, he says, right? There's no gray area in it. And what amazes me is that's, I think, one of the things we have to realize is most of these people on the left, the Gabe Vasquez's that are pushing back against Pastor Smotherman and what he's saying from the pulpit, and like I don't know, I don't go I don't go reviewing everybody's sermons from every weekend. I don't have time for that. I'm like, so I don't know what the man said from the pulpit. I can only see what he puts out into public here. But the people like Gabe Vasquez, they look at that and they believe that there's some kind of neutrality to be had. I can, and they lie to themselves that they're somehow not caught up in this battle of good and evil.
Oh, yeah.
They'll lie to themselves. Well, I'm not on the side of evil. I'm on the side of my good. I choose my good. Yeah. And this is what I think is good. I think, just like this gentleman, well, you need to worry about unity and the good of the people and on and on and on. And I go, like, do you not realize that there's only one good?
Right.
Okay. What is good? Right. If we talk about the good of the people, then I think most people, especially those who are thinking in these terms, they'll say, well, we got to do whatever is good for the most amount of people, right? That's I'm not phrasing that correctly, but the most good, we got to do what's
the common good.
Yeah, what is the common good? Well, I don't know. I look around, and the largest killer of Americans is abortion.
Mm-hmm.
More Americans are slayed every year in abortion than anything else. And I go, well, that's not a good for the people of America,
right?
But when you dehumanize that which is in the womb, when you say that's not a person in there,
yeah.
Well, then you can absolve yourself of the guilt of going, well, I believe it's okay to kill these people.
Well, and then now what's that moved on to of, then you can have an abortion up to birth.
Oh, man, we're way behind schedule.
And then now it's, they can be 8 years old.
Yeah, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and then we'll jump right into our news break, and we'll come back after this.
As the new school year ramps up, students and families are becoming community. Within the community of Artesia, smaller communities, such as classrooms, booster clubs, and sports fans are coming together. As a body of Christians, we believe community is one of God's most beautiful gifts. Acts 4:32 paints this picture. All believers were one in heart and mind. That's the heartbeat of a church family, a place where people share life, carry one another's burdens, and celebrate victory together. Isaiah 52:7 states, "How beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news." Community becomes beautiful when we share that good news in peace, encouragement, and hope, remembering that God is still at work. At Hermosa Church of Christ, you'll find a family that welcomes you, walks with you, and believes you matter, a place where unity isn't just an idea, it's lived out in kindness, generosity, and shared faith. Come experience the beauty of community.
Grab your dancing boots and gear up for 2 nights of live music and fun coming to downtown Artesia. The 11th annual Red Dirt Black Gold Music Festival hits September 25th and 26th. It all gets underway on Friday night with Heritage Night, featuring El Instinto de Chihuahua. The party continues on Saturday with music by the Delk Band.
Where did I go wrong? Did I wait too long?
The Wilder Blue.
Rio River Blue. Palomino Gold.
Logan Ryan Band.
Oh, I'd so put out my Tacovas and them turquoise rings you like.
And Pecos and the Rooftops.
4 a.m. riding this damn song, but I guess I'm okay.
Plus the New Mexico Brewfest, the Oil Field Cook-Off, local food trucks, vendors, and activities for all ages. Gates open at 4, but the fun's gonna last all night. The 11th annual Red Dirt Black Gold Music Festival, September 25th and 26th in downtown Artesia. Come on down and kick the dust up. Ad paid for by Artesia Lodgers Tax. The Office Management and Technologies program at ENMU Roswell prepares you with the skills you need to succeed in today's workplace. From creating professional documents to mastering communication and administrative skills, you'll be equipped to keep any office running smoothly. You'll build clear professional communication skills, learn effective administration techniques, and gain hands-on experience with today's technology. Whether you're starting your career or leveling up your skills, this program is your path to success. Call ENMU Roswell today at 575-624-7337 or log on to roswell.enmu.edu.
I was driving home from work.
I was heading out to meet my friends.
I was thinking about what I would make for dinner.
I was just changing the station on my radio.
I was checking my cell phone.
I was only trying to change lanes.
I never saw him.
I never saw him.
I never saw that motorcycle.
Until it was too late.
Unfortunately,
Sometimes drivers don't notice motorcycles on the road until it's too late. Be aware. Always look for motorcycles, because it's their road too.
Sponsored by NMDOT and aired in cooperation with the NMBA and this station.
With your Cowboys Report, I'm Christy Scales. A former division rival who now wears a star on his helmet reacts to his first training camp practices in front of the home crowd. Find out who's now a true blue convert right after this.
Cowboys Nation is big because everything's bigger in Texas. And Reliant has the energy to power it all. From home field advantage to home sweet home, Reliant has Dallas Cowboys fans all across the Lone Star State covered. For every electric moment this season and beyond. Reliant, proud to be the official energy provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Reliant, PUCT number 10007.
Game on, and so is SWBC. We've got home loan options tailored to fit your needs. Need a partner for payroll, HR, and employee benefits? Done. And whether it's time to grow your business or buy a new home, our team is right there in your corner because SWBC is your partner. For your family, for your business, for your wins. Forward, together. Visit swbc.com. SWBC Mortgage Corporation, NMLS number 9741. Check licensing at www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
Cowboys training camp is now officially in the rearview mirror after last night's second and final practice in front of fans here at the Star in Frisco. Now it's on to tomorrow night's preseason game, roster cuts over the weekend, then prepping for the regular season opener in New York. These past 2 nights of practice were an eye-opener to former Washington Commanders quarterback Sam Howell, who joined the Cowboys this offseason.
It's been awesome. You can tell it's different here with the Cowboys. And, whenever the gates open, I peek my head in here and the stadium was full. So they take it serious down here, and it's a fun thing to be a part of.
Howell and Joe Milton are competing to be number 2 on the depth chart behind Dak, but Coach Schottenheimer hasn't said yet which one will get the start tomorrow night hosting the Saints. With the Cowboys Report, I'm Christy Scales.
All across America, this is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report, sponsored by Abacus Global Management.
Good morning, I'm John Terrett. Well, it was a flat day on Wall Street yesterday. The markets closed in the red, but barely. The Fed's preferred measure of inflation, PCE, was muted in July. Spending stalled. Core PCE, which you get when you strip out food and energy, well, that was in line with expectations, suggesting that inflation, during the survey time anyway, was at least steady. So the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P all in the red at the end of the Wednesday session. The big company story was Meta Platforms. It says it'll pay up to $18 billion to settle that federal child addiction case against it. Meta denies any wrongdoing. You'd expect that. Meta stock plunged initially, but then rose during the day. J.M. Smucker, the food people, lifted its outlook, swung to profit, sales climbed, and so did the stock on Wednesday. The darling of the pandemic. Do you remember when we were all calling our grannies on Zoom and doing business on Zoom? Do you remember that? Well, Zoom revenue is rising based on enterprise growth, which is growth you achieve over a long period of time. But stock was down on Wednesday because of a weaker than expected forecast. SpaceX is going to spend $100 billion and build 5 campuses along the coastline in Louisiana. They reckon they could launch thousands of rockets from there every year. Later today, the earnings come from the retail sector again, Ulta Beauty and Best Buy. With business, I'm John Terrett.
This is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report, sponsored by Abacus Global Management.
What if the future of finance wasn't built around averages, but around you? At Abacus Global Management, we're reshaping financial planning around the most personal data point, your lifespan. But it's more than just insight, it's control. As a technology-driven asset manager, we're empowering investors with an integrated system to take command of your time, your future, your financial destiny. This is a new era of investing. Take control at abacusgm.com.
Now, time for another Otis Advisory.
Say hello to Zohan the Conqueror, the latest fanboy of the lunatic fringe. It's obvious. Mayor of New York Zohan only has a beatnik-level view of what makes the world work, but he's still planning to run this con on you and the rest of the coalition of the unhappy come next election day. Now, Zohan the Conqueror, as his mama calls him, brings with him all the usual gin-soaked lefty stuff, like free beer and rubber money for anyone who's lost their appetite for work. But this Mondami is more than that. He's the shiny new locomotive pulling the hate America First train, just as it loads up to leave bankruptcy station. Chicks dig me because I burn tires, said the Zohan. And although he's never actually seen the inside of a dress barn, he's sure he knows what women are looking for. Because in a Mondami state-run grocery store, cotton candy is produce. It's a miracle. Think of the Zohan as artificial sweetener. The more you read about what's in it, the less of it you want. A vote for Mr. All Hat No Cattle is like buying the jeans with the holes already in them. You know it's stupid, but you do it anyway. Come on now, somebody pump the brakes on this mess before New York boils over for good. And order your special Uncle Otis secret decoder ring to make sure you get all the hidden messages in the stupid bit, and the rest of them too. I'll see you at the Peace March.
All right, welcome back, Artesia. Jeff's going to come in here. I think I found another topic. It's an interesting topic, and it's an article. It's off of what do you call it? I can't remember what you call this website, but it's one of those where people write stuff and you Substack. Thank you, Substack. That's what it is. And in it, the author Michael Schellenberger is writing about the radicalization of the nation, right? And so that's a hot topic. If you've been listening to any news, it's funny because I tell everybody I on my way into work here every morning I throw on the Fox News recap. They got this little thing on Facebook where they take clips from each one of the previous evening's shows and they clip them all together. For about 3 weeks now, it seems, maybe longer, it's just been the whole socialist thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, DSA. I'm like, okay, all right, man. Like, it's getting wearisome at this point. But they just keep adding to it. It's because primaries, like we all focus on our primary. It's early. Our primary is actually really early comparative. Like some of them just finished up like last week. And all these crazy lunatic candidates are winning all over the country.
Yeah.
And some of them funny, like one in Florida, her name's Angie. That's all I know because they make fun of her on. But she's a loon, a complete loon. And like her opponent, the Democrat establishment opponent, outspent her 36-1. And she still trounced them.
Yeah.
In Florida, of all states, right?
Wow. Yeah.
And there was another one in Oklahoma that just won, and like at the end of the campaign, she had $450 left in her campaign, like, and her opponent outspent her 6-1,
Oh, yeah.
And she still wins, right? And so like people are going, what in the world is going on? And I'm going to tie this back to what we were talking about with smothering is I think there's an interesting phenomenon in people in that people really don't like, what's a good word? Milk toast people, like smushy middle. Like people don't like smushy middle. They want the radical on their side, right?
Yeah.
They want the whoever's most extreme on their side of the political spectrum, right?
Yeah.
At least that's basically nature. I want the person who's closest to me, like the person who is like really willing to stand up and without shame say what they really believe, right?
Yeah.
And I think that goes on both sides. Well, this guy was posting a study from Gallup and Pew data that the Cambridge Political Psychology Lab did, and it showed that the left had grown over 10 times more extreme than the right on core issues from 1988 to 2024. Right. So what is that saying? Like, that's why we're getting so much. They're getting so much momentum over in the Democrats is like, hey, we've been beating around the bush about this socialism thing. We've been lying to saying we're not socialist for a long time.
Yeah.
And the truth is we really were. And so now they're like, well, people are willing to come out and say it, then let's just jump on that bandwagon.
It kind of makes me think of, like, I joke about my best friend growing up. If I made reservations at 7 o'clock, I would tell her they were at 6:30.
I know people like that.
Yeah, she found out when we were adults at another friend's wedding. She's like, "What? How could you?" Like, your mom and I are the ones who came up with it. Like, what? But it's that go early, hoping that then she'd be ready by the right time for me to pick her up. Or when you're asking for money from the government, or anything, you need 100,000. You don't ask for 100,000.
You ask for 2,
and hopefully you'll get a little more.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't go straight elect Stalin right now.
Yeah.
But let's put him on the ballot.
Exactly.
So then this
so people
one
start getting used to it.
Well, and so this one that is 2 steps down from Stalin. Well, you know what? That's really where our party is right now. We're not the extreme. We're not that extreme.
Yeah.
We're right here in the middle. No, you're not.
Yeah.
It's like you put the closing or going out of business sell sign up, but you just marked everything up 5 times before you put that sign
Before
up.
you put it up,
So you could discount it. Half off.
Yeah. What it is it's the Overton window shift, right? And we're watching that Overton window, and there's a tug of war with it right now, I think. But what's interesting about this study is the left moving further left doesn't surprise me,
right?
And it really doesn't even bug me. I'm fine. Like, show me your true colors. I want to see your true colors. They're democratic socialists. Do you really want that?
Right.
They're like, if they want to abolish the Senate, they want to.
Yeah.
Which I would argue that the Senate was abolished in the 17th Amendment, ladies and gentlemen, when the states stopped choosing their senators. We basically have 2 House of Representatives. I look at that and I go, show me your true colors. But I think this might, the Republicans should look at this and not get all joyous because the left's got more extreme. Yeah, that makes it easier for us. No, it really doesn't. What it shows me is that you've gotten more mushy in the middle, and you wonder why you've got a voter turnout problem.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to get behind the mushy middle. Yeah, okay, I guess he's on our side. I'll cast my vote. I'm like, what does it even matter? This guy he's not too far from what those crazy people are, right?
Yeah.
And when you start doing that, you're not going to get, you get no momentum. People want to go, why did Trump get so much momentum behind him? Because he's willing to stand up there and say crazy things. They weren't really crazy, but they were.
To say the truth that a lot of people say crazy.
Yeah, I don't say he always says the truth, because he doesn't.
No.
But what I'm saying is, like, he was willing to unashamedly state what he meant. I of course don't think he's far enough right. I think he's Bill Clinton. I'll be honest with you. Donald Trump is Bill Clinton. That's what's hilarious. Like, there's almost zero. Like, if you had those two running against each other, they almost would disagree on nothing. If you could take time and mush it together, they're basically the same candidate.
So I don't think that Clinton would have named the ballroom the Monica Lewinsky Ballroom.
Yeah. But that's funny.
But once Hillary said that it's wrong for him to do that.
I don't even know. What is he naming it?
There's no name.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah.
White House Ballroom or, whatever.
Right,
but,
okay. I'm like, did he give us some stupid name?
No, it was...
It's the Ivanka Ballroom.
It was the joke of you can't do what? You're saying I can't do what?
Yeah, exactly.
You stole half the White House when you moved out.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I know, yeah. It's crazy. But, I just wonder sometimes, like, do people, I guess... the people who do politics, I think they get so wrapped up in polls and I think they get very myopic in that they get in their little bubble, and they really don't see the rest of the world outside of their little bubble, and they don't realize that most of us at the polls, on the street, fighting, like we don't want we want a negotiator like Trump who goes, well, I'm going to get my way.
Yeah.
I don't want we'll give a little to take a little, like I don't want mushy middle.
Yeah.
I want a man who stands up, I not Smotherman is just today's example, right? Because he's being attacked for saying things that are true.
Right.
And not apologizing for them. Right? That's what we need. Greg Cunningham's one of those guys. I'm not endorsing the guy. Actually I am. But the station is not. Scott Pettis is. But I look at it and I go, he is a bold speaker, man. He's no nonsense guy.
Yeah.
And I go, that's more of what we need. Like, be bold, be forward, especially as a man of faith, be forward and bold with that. And you'll get people behind you. People will mobilize behind you. No one wants a soft leader. And the softer the leaders get, and the squishier they get on the core issues, which I think, when it says that the left had grown 10 times more extreme, I wonder if a portion of that multiplier is how much softer the right got on their core issues.
Yeah.
And how far left the Republican Party has moved from what it was 100 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's bothersome to me.
Even 40 years ago.
Oh, yeah, even 40 years ago.
Reaganomics.
Good Republicans stood against public education. Like they said, no, education needs to be the purview of each little village, town, nationalizing education in their mind was a horrible thing.
Right.
And there's the proofs in the pudding that once we nationalized education, we can see the cumulative effect of that here. What are we, like 50 years? It was in the 70s.
Yeah.
That they nationalized the education system. Republicans used to be against the nationalization of anything.
Yeah.
Can we get back to that?
Well, that goes to the cost of colleges.
Yeah.
You had to go and get a loan from a bank, basically proving that you are going to be able to pay back that money with the job that you're going to get from this degree. Yeah. And then when the federal government started backing all of those loans, everything, and Harvard is who started it. They quadrupled their staff pay and everything because it's like
the cost of education, higher education, and the cost of healthcare are high because of the backstops the government put in place. The insurance agencies and the federal loans and all of that. The colleges can choose whatever, charge whatever they want because they always know there's a backer there to back that up, and they're going to get their money regardless, even whether they produce a good product or not.
Right.
When Charlie Kirk said it was a racket, he wasn't lying.
Correct.
Healthcare in this country is outrageously expensive because the insurance pays for it. The individual does not.
And it is the bureaucracy. My 2007 insurance covered $968,000 because I was flown to El Paso. Everything in Texas was covered. Perfectly. Everything in New Mexico, I had to pay. And then insurance would reimburse me. And when I was talking to someone from Aetna, why, he said it's because of the bureaucracy. We have to go through the New Mexico Department of Health for everything. And in Texas, we don't. We deal straight with the doctors and the hospitals, and we don't want to deal. It's easier to, you pay it, we'll reimburse you. And that was a little before Obamacare came out. And I'm like, oh, so now everyone's going to have this.
Well, and I sit there and I look at it, and one of the interesting dynamics of the whole thing is why has the right shifted left? Why have conservatives started conserving what the liberals put into place? Because there's pain associated with eliminating government programs. There's pain associated with getting rid of all these social safety nets that exist. And it's so easy for the left to demonize anyone who says, hey, we need to get rid of this social safety net because it's a racket and it's full of fraud and everything else. And when you do that, people are like, oh, I can't vote for that guy because he's going to make life harder. And so that's how the window keeps getting drugged further and further to the left, is because, like, well, they got it into place. Can't get rid of it now. Yeah. It exists. So you all it takes is a 2-year window, and the Democrats get in power in the House and Senate and a president in place. We will have universal health care. And once it's in place, the right will never get rid of it because it'll hurt too much. Right. And anybody who runs on that, they're like, well, we can't win on that. Right. That's the same with abortion. Like, all the candidates love to call themselves pro-life. But what they mean is, well, we'll regulate the murder of babies, not we'll eliminate it. If you stood up there and say, no, it needs to be eliminated, it needs to be abolished completely, it needs to be made against the law again, people are like, oh man, you're an extremist. You're crazy. Oh, we can't be that extreme. Right. Well, the one we follow was quite the zealot.
Yeah.
Jesus expected you to obey everything he said.
Yeah.
There was no gray or middle ground in that. Right. And
there's no justifications.
Yeah.
There's no
equivocations, like, well, but these people over here think this. Yeah.
You can't just keep pushing the envelope.
Yeah. And so I just sit and I wonder, like, how do we, first off, I know how we walk in faith, and we go back to the first lesson of the day. I walk in faith that God's going to make all this turn out. But in the meantime, as he's doing so, my job is to set before you and tell you the truth and pray that the Spirit lay it upon your heart. And so that's my prayer, and that's my constant encouragement to anybody who even remotely thinks they belong in office. Is stop being, become a zealot, become an extremist, a Christian extremist, right?
Yeah.
Stand up there and they're like, well, we can't win that way. That's not up to you.
Right.
You have no faith in the one who created you and saved you. No, I'm going to follow after what he says. Yeah. And if I lose, then that's his will. If I win, that's his will. And if I get this bill through, that's his will. If I don't, that's his will. Sometimes his will is to punish us with bad leaders.
Yeah.
That's what scripture tells us. Sometimes that's where it is. So,
and sometimes we think that punishment, we find out that punishment is actually not a redemption.
No, we're good. We only got a 2.5 minute break to close out the hour. So we still got a couple more minutes. So and I'm going, man, sometimes our job is to set through the discipline and learn our lesson.
It's like it took me a few years before I looked at July 8th, 2007 as the worst day of my life.
Yeah.
Because that's the day that I died.
Yeah.
And it took a few years before I was like, hold on, wait. That was the end of
that life.
Yeah. It wasn't the worst day of my life. It's the best day because I had a miracle and I'm able to start a new life.
Yeah.
What was horrible, and it wasn't fun to go through, but it's been one of the best things that changed my life.
And that makes it, that gives a great illustration point to the idea of a new creation, right? When we come into Christ, we're told that we're no longer the old man. We put off the old flesh, and we're a new creation, right? That's not just limited to you and your personal spiritual walk.
Yeah.
that applies to any entity that submits itself to Christ. right? If your household's a hot mess and you submit your household to Christ and you begin to follow that household is a new creation.
Yeah.
And no, hardly anybody would ever deny that. But when you tell people that when a nation repents, when a nation and its leaders turn to Christ, that it can be a new creation. We don't have to continue to be what we are. We're a mess. We don't have to stay there. We don't have to sit in that. We can follow after Christ. All right, now we'll go to commercial break, and we'll be back after the hour.
This September, Roswell, New Mexico becomes home to America's most thrilling aviation event. 5 unforgettable days, heart-pounding air racing, military demonstrations, legendary pilots. Whether you're driving in, flying in, or joining us from right here in New Mexico, the National Championship Air Races, September 16th through the 20th. Get your tickets now at airrace.org. Experience the world's fastest motorsports and more.
I'm Mark Williams, head of school at Artesia Classical Academy. ACA partners with families to provide a classical Christian education. Our core values are excellence in all that we do. In the classroom, be the best student we can. Being organized, being prepared for class, learning how to think. ACA staff is committed to knowing all students and helping them grow as learners. The best way to learn more about ACA is to come schedule a visit and to see what the difference is all about.
Let's see what's at the Cow. Autumn, Christmas, and holiday fabrics are here. The Calico Cow is your dealer for handy quilter, brother, and baby lock machines, and they service and repair most models. It's time to create. Sign up now for our classes and follow Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop on Facebook for updates and creation ideas. Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop, 200 East College in Roswell. Want to know how? Come to the Cow.
Check out the savings this week at Fens Country Market in Artesia. Select 10 packs of Capri Sun pouches are 2 for $6. And select varieties of banquet pot pies are 5 for $5. In produce, extra large black, green, or red seedless grapes are $2 a pound. And New Mexico green chili are just $1 a pound. In the meat department, choice T-bone steaks are $11 a pound. And family packs of boneless sirloin cut pork chops are $2 a pound. These are just some of the savings this week at Fens Country Market in Artesia.
At Artesia Ford Sales, we've been taking care of your family's automotive needs for 60 years. Now you can get Ford service just the way you want it, without leaving your home. With complimentary Ford pickup and delivery, or our Ford mobile service van, we'll come to you, handle your routine maintenance or light repairs right in your driveway, and get you back on the road fast. Artesia Ford Sales, family owned, family trusted for 60 years. ArtesiaFordSales.com. Schedule your mobile service today.
Rock and mudslide that swallowed up and swept away entire villages in Nepal along the border with China.
Authorities say a glacial collapse and a massive surge of water and mud through mountain valleys, destroying roads, burying buildings, and cutting off communities. Across the border in Tibet, hundreds remain unaccounted for as helicopters and rescue teams continued searching for survivors.
Correspondent Ken Lorman says 1,300 people are missing, with many tourists, including some Americans among them. An international search and recovery effort is kicking into high gear with the U.S., China, and the EU all involved. A military judge has set June 5, 2028, starting date of the trial of an alleged 9/11 mastermind.
Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was captured in 2003 in Pakistan and then subjected to extreme interrogation techniques, including waterboarding. He was transferred to the U.S. Naval Base at Guantanamo Bay in 2006. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed is accused of directing the plot to crash hijacked airliners into sites including the World Trade Center on September the 11th, 2001, in the biggest terror attack ever to take place on American soil, which killed nearly 3,000 people.
The BBC's Warren Bull. A tropical storm named Dolly has formed out in the Atlantic, posing no threat to land at this point. Kids under 18 will soon see a host of changes to their Instagram and Facebook accounts, thanks to an historic $18 billion settlement between Meta and 48 states. Meta has agreed to take steps to keep kids under 13 off its platforms and teens in age-appropriate accounts, and to enact a hard limit of 2 hours per day. That for users under 18 years of age. Those are just some of the safety changes that will be made. Townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule at half the price of traditional marketplace plans. See why believers across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
My name is Amanda Klutz, and I'm a widow. You enter a different reality when you lose your husband, especially as a parent. Life insurance doesn't fix it, but it helps. With Ethos, you can get covered in minutes. No medical exams, up to $3 million in coverage, and it's all online.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
The U.S. spy chief has been on a secretive trip abroad.
CIA Director John Ratcliffe has made a rare visit to Russia. The Kremlin says he held talks in Moscow with intelligence counterparts. Spokesman Dmitry Peskov says Ratcliffe did not meet with Vladimir Putin, but says the Russian president was immediately informed of everything, though he refused to say what was discussed. The trip comes at a time of strained relations over Russia's war in Ukraine. And Moscow has a partnership with Iran, which has provided it with Shahed drones. President Trump played down the significance of Ratcliffe's visit, calling it semi-routine. I'm Ben Thomas.
Another tanker attack has been reported today in the Strait of Hormuz. The UK's Maritime Trade Organization says it was another oil tanker been hit by an unknown projectile in that strategic waterway. News and analysis at townhall.com. We knew her as a country music superstar, shining presence on the big screen and a very astute businesswoman, but there was another side of Dolly Parton. Correspondent Jason Walker tells us about it.
The Library of Congress calls Parton a titan of children's literacy for the millions of free books she provided every month to her Imagination Library. She also gave $1 million to Vanderbilt University's Medical Center to help develop Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine. She purchased an entire Nashville mall to support the surrounding black neighborhood. Some estimates say Dolly Parton gave away at least $200 million. Jason Walker reporting.
Stocks higher on Wall Street this hour. The Dow is up 152 points. The Nasdaq ahead 336 points. More on these stories. Townhall.com.
As KSVP celebrates 80 years of broadcasting in 2026, one of our longest-running features is the KSVIP. We love recognizing our local residents and listeners for great accomplishments in their lives. If it's a birthday, anniversary, promotion, retirement, a new family member, you name it, they're worthy of being a KSVIP. To nominate a special person who will receive recognition on the radio and a flower from Nell's Floral, call 575-746-2751.
Welcome back, Artesia, Thursday, August 27th, 9 o'clock hour. I'm your host, Scott Pettis. joined by my ever faithful friend, Jeffrey. What's up, dude?
Work, work, work all day long.
Yeah.
Work, work, work while I sing this song.
Jeff made a good point during the break. We're just going to carry the conversation from last hour. So if you weren't with us, I'm sorry. You should have been listening.
You can go back and watch.
You can go back and watch.
KSVPTV.com.
Oh,
back
man.
to you in the studio.
No, we're talking about that swing and that shift to the left, right? And you made a great you made a great point. Is migration and immigration, right? And we'll start with the smaller, the more micro of that aspect, and that's migration, right? So, as California gets more and more liberal and more overbearing government in their state, and people can't make a living, and the taxes get too high, and everything gets kind of miserable there, what do? Well, they migrate to freer places, right? So huge Californian influxes into New Mexico, and now it's Texas and Florida.
Those are the big ones.
New Yorkers moving down to Florida, right? And the funny part of it is they bring with them the mindset that caused California and New York to go awry in the first place, and they inundate. So, like we're talking about, like in Oklahoma and Texas, they these far left loons, winning these Democratic primaries, and I mean, goodness gracious, you had Jasmine Crockett for how long. That woman was nuts, But and you're like, well, in Texas, how does someone like that win? Because people moved out of less free states into free states, and they brought the idiocracy that caused their decline in the first place, and they bring it to this free place and go, well, I still believe this.
Yeah,
I'm just glad my taxes are lower, then I've got more money now, but I'm still gonna support this.
Yeah,
all the while not seeing that what the reason they were in the state they were in is because of their messed up worldview.
Yeah.
And you go, you can't, you just sometimes, as someone famous once said, you can't help stupid. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just, you can lead that horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And then you look at the larger, that macro scale that we were talking about, right? We're importing people from third world dictatorial, poor countries that don't line up with the Christian values that created and shaped America into what it is. And when you bring them over and they don't assimilate, I think that's the big word, assimilate.
Yeah.
Right. And if Californians want to come, had come from California and got to Texas and go, what made you guys so great? And they assimilated to that thought process.
Yeah.
There wouldn't have been a problem. Same thing. We're bringing in people from third world countries, and they don't assimilate, and they're promised all this free stuff. They're handed just massive amounts of money, and and I will tell you, I have firsthand experience of this in dealing with Afghani immigrants.
Yeah,
right. It is true. They do. I mean, they support them for years before they put them out on their own. Now, my immigrants that I brought over, that I lobbied for to get over here. Because they were partners with us in the war, I have been adamant with them. You got to get yourself off the government dole. Like you need to go out and make something of yourself. And part of them listen to me, and part of them are like just quite happy to get their free dollars.
Yeah,
unfortunately, and so I'm really frustrated with them. But I just keep working at it. I keep like, look, guys, I don't want to support you for the rest of your life.
Right.
Like you need to step up, man up, and do your thing. But it's hard sometimes to get that mindset out of people who come from countries where they just rely on the government for everything.
Right.
Right. They don't have leftist mentality. They just have, well, the government's supposed to take care of me mentalities.
Or the no one's taking care of us. But these guys are. Okay, we'll go there.
Or I mean, it's been shown with the Somali population. We're going to hustle and steal, and I watched that firsthand in both Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Right. And whether it's baked into the Muslim faith or just baked into those cultures over there, I couldn't tell you one or the other. But to lie in a business deal to get money to win out on the business deal is wholly acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
To lie, cheat, and steal to get it's wholly acceptable, and just makes you a good businessman.
Right.
So I had to learn a whole new way of doing business with those people when I was in those countries doing business with them, because I was used to the American, hey, handshake's a handshake, brother.
Yeah.
This is the best. This is the best deal you can offer me. I believe you. Not over there, man.
No.
Not over there. You got to be a hustler in order not to get taken for everything. You own. And so you bring that mentality into this country. What happens?
It's when I went to Ethiopia to do that, filmed someone from here who was helping me go, said, make sure you don't take your cameras out in public.
Yeah.
And he's like, and so I took my GoPro along with my regular cameras. But he's like, that camera that you have, even though it's not the best one in the world, that's more than what most people in Ethiopia will make in their entire lifetime.
Yeah. They will snatch it.
And that's why when I got lost in that Somali neighborhood, thankfully I had my GoPro with me.
Yeah.
So I could still shoot things. But it's like, okay, what do I got? This, like $20.
Yeah.
That's about 8,000 Ethiopian per.
Yeah.
So that, for when you go and withdraw money from the deal and you get 10,000 out, and then you go check your bank account and it's like, oh, that was $17. Okay.
Yeah, I loved that when I was in Thailand.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's, I don't even remember what the currency is over there now, but they give you a number and you realize that's like $2. I just got like this massive dinner for $2. Like, this is amazing, but then you look at the quality of life those people live in and it makes a little more sense. But I that whole point of migration and immigration and why is things shifting so far to the left the way it is, and how do we view it? How do we understand it? We need to understand all the underlying causations, not just correlations, but causations, and so that we can address them, right? Well, if immigration is bringing this socialist mindset deeper and deeper into the American psyche, then we have to cut that off, right? Yeah. They talk about, well, we're a nation of immigrants. Yeah, we are a nation of immigrants who assimilated, right? That was expected. When you came over in Ellis Island, there wasn't here, okay, you'll get a paycheck for, this, and we're going to give you money. Like, okay, welcome to Ellis Island, go.
Yeah.
And
here's keys to a new house.
Yeah, you better figure this out. And if you go back and look at the records and stuff I've read on this, is that a lot of Europeans, when they were, the poor Irish and Scottish and even Britons and people from other countries, Italians and stuff would come over, and they realized, this is not what I thought it was, and they would go back.
Yeah,
it's not like they all came and just stayed. Like there was a lot of them that said, nope, not for me. I'm going back. Because the social safety nets weren't there until later after was it Great New Deal, right? With FDR and stuff. That was the big move to all these social programs, and that was put in place because the Dust Bowl and the stock market crash and all of that stuff. Well, we got to have all these social safety nets, and we created, and it robbed the American psyche of hard work produces. And when you start taking that away, it hurts. And so what do? Well, we can't get rid of that program. We can't get rid of Social Security. We can't get rid of this. We can't get rid of that. So we're going to prop up all those, what would have been extremist leftist ideas 100 years ago are now part of our normal conservative thing. Well, public schools are good. Really? Turn it back over to the cities. Every city needs to do. Little House on the Prairie,
Right.
They started a school. The government didn't come down and build them a school. Like they got together as families and said, all right, let's build a school system here.
Right.
And so I my hope and prayer, my faith is in that, all this is God's hands. And I go, well, what are the works that we need to do in faith? And the works are, we got to turn back to the principles of Scripture and go, private property. You can't take what is mine.
Yeah.
That was written in the top 10, ladies and gentlemen. Thou shalt not steal.
Right.
And just because the government steals from you doesn't make it right. The magistrate doesn't get to go, we're going to kick that one out.
Most successful mafia on earth.
Exactly. And so it's imperative that we start to understand this stuff from our Christian worldview and embrace it and absorb it and go, okay, I'm going to stand up there boldly in faith and say all of this. And you might hate me. You might. I don't know, but there will be a lot of people who will be emboldened by bold leaders that will go forward and go, this is what it is. I've said a lot of things in my life that if I went on a public stage, I'd be like, well, do you still believe that? Yeah, I do. Right. Pete Hegseth is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Pete said a lot of stuff in his media time that before he moved into politics as Secretary of War, he truly believes women shouldn't serve in combat.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, wow, we can't have this guy. He still, to this day, will tell you, yeah, no, I don't think that's right.
Right.
This is what I have right now. And so he goes, all right. And how's he dealing with it? He goes, the standards for combat are higher. And he goes, anybody who can meet them, fine, come on. But the standards are getting so high that it is, most women can't meet these standards. And I'm like, okay, well, if the standard to be a combative is up here and this group of people down here can't make that level, it's not discrimination. It's just, though, this is the standard, you have to meet it. And so
it's I cannot, when I was going into the Navy, I could not become a nuclear engineer because I was colorblind for one day.
For one day.
Yeah, because I wasn't.
That little book test.
When they did it, they were saying I was colorblind. No, I'm not. No. Yeah. Went to the eyesight when I got home. They're like, no, you're not colorblind.
Yeah.
But that morning, I could not.
Yeah.
So I was not allowed to do the one job I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying that's discrimination because my eyes are messed up.
Exactly.
I do not qualify.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Here's the deal. If you're 300 pounds and can't run the 3 miles, in a certain amount of time, you're not being discriminated against. You just didn't meet that standard.
Right.
That's it. That's a simple bit of it.
Oh, I did want to say one more thing about the moving.
Yeah.
Something else I thought of was Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
You know how back in the 1800s or whatever, the people would move out west to get away from all the pollens.
Yeah, all the pollen and all the humidity, yeah.
And everything.
They need a dry climate, yeah.
Problem is they created it. They brought all of their plants with them. And so they came back. And then when now it's a lot of xeriscaping is in the laws.
Yeah.
But forever, if you go through old Phoenix, all of the yards have berms. It's the house, sidewalk, and every one of them has a berm because they would go, that's how they would water their yards.
Flood.
They would flood them and they would do it by like a 6-block area. So 6 square blocks are all filled with a foot of water.
That's weird.
To soak in and during the day. Well, they created humidity. I didn't create it, but they brought it. And then you have a swimming pool in every backyard.
Yeah.
So now Phoenix has humidity.
Yeah. That's interesting. I've never heard this before. I want to read up on that. That's quite an interesting take.
It's
I never heard that.
Kind of like when it very few times it snowed when I was in Phoenix. If it snows during a weekday, I thought a volcano erupted.
Yeah, the whole world shuts down.
Well, because it looked like ash.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was gray filtering through the smog.
Yeah. Yeah.
when it snowed on a Sunday, you could tell that it was snow.
Oh, man. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Artesia. We're going to go ahead and go to our weather and a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll be talking to Aaron and seeing what's going on in the world of finance.
This is a nasty little termite. It loves nothing better than to eat your house, your subfloors, your walls, around your windows. And then they swarm around, taunting you.
We're eating your house. We're eating your house.
You'd like to kill them, wouldn't you? But you don't want trenches dug around your home, and you don't want holes in your foundation. That's where Dow AgroSciences and the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System come to the rescue. The same system that protects the White House can help protect your house. An authorized operator strategically places Centricon stations around your house and then carefully monitors them for termites. If they're found, a professional inserts bait tube devices. The termites take the bait and they die.
I feel like I'm dying.
Kind of like that, only a lot more effective. In fact, Centricon is proven to eliminate the termite colony. Termites are gone with Centricon. No more colony, no more problem. Visit Centricon.com.
Call Bob Reed Pest Control today for all of Southeast New Mexico. 575-623-5344.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty hot today. We're going up to about 100, and it should stay sunny. We have a little system rolling through overnight that may bring us a few showers or thunderstorms, and we're down around 70 on the low. Right back to sunny weather on Friday, upper 90s to about 100. We're expecting highs near 100 on Saturday, and then we get low 100s on Sunday. We'll stay sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
If you want to install a new roof, you can do it the cheap way or you can do it the right way. Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and one of our customers recently found this out the hard way. He was going to hire us to re-roof his roof, but he found someone to do the job for $2,000 cheaper. Half a year later, this customer called us to re-inspect his brand new roof. Turns out this contractor was not a contractor at all. He had no license and no insurance. The roof was installed incorrectly and never had been passed by the city inspector. We had to re-roof his brand new roof, tear off the shingles and start from scratch. It was the most expensive $2,000 anyone has ever saved. If you need a roof installed the right way, you can trust who your neighbors trust. You can trust Trustmark Roofing for no obligation to the penny quote on your roof transformation. Call 575-755-ROOF. That's 575-755-7663.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first. Exciting news for Southeast New Mexico. The Advanced Heart and Vascular Center of New Mexico in Carlsbad, home to Dr. Amanda Ryan's trusted cardiology care for over 13 years, is now part of Current Clinic. That means world-class electrophysiology services right here in Southeast New Mexico. No more 3-hour drives to see a specialist. Current Clinic is bringing advanced, life-changing treatment for atrial fibrillation, AFib, and other heart rhythm disorders close to home. Early intervention for AFib can dramatically lower your risk of stroke, and our goal is to help our community understand just how important that is. You and your loved ones deserve comprehensive, cutting-edge heart care without leaving town. If you're experiencing an irregular heartbeat or AFib symptoms, expert care is now available locally. Visit currentclinic.com today to learn more and schedule your consultation. Current Clinic, easy access to comprehensive AFib care right here in Southeast New Mexico.
The Artesia Historical Museum and Art Center now has their very own website. Visit artesiamuseum.org to stay up to date on events and exhibits. Look through historical photos of Artesia, submit research requests, and more. For information, please call 575-748-7345. Stop by the Artesia Historical Museum and Art Center at 505 West Richardson Avenue or online at artesiamuseum.org. Open Tuesday through Saturday from 9 to 4. This ad paid for by Artesia Lodgers Tax.
Hey guys, Stephen Garcia here with Tate Branch and Artesia. I'm going to tell you about the crazy deals that we're having right now. We got the Tradesmans, the Bighorns, the Laramies, the Rebels, the Limited, all up to 50% off. Now that's $10,000 to $15,000 off, and during our invoice pricing sale, that is subtracted off the invoice. You're getting it for what I would get for, but better. So come to 919 South First Street in Artesia, ask for Steven, and get a deal of a lifetime. Tate Branch, where we help people.
At PVT, we're more than your internet provider. We're your neighbors. For generations, we've connected southeastern New Mexico with fast, reliable service and a personal touch. No contracts, no data caps, no surprises, just smart services, whole home Wi-Fi, and support from people who live and work right here. Choose the provider that invests in your community's future. Call 575-748-1241 or visit pvt.com. PVT, keeping you connected to what matters most.
Artesia Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, home-owned and operated for over 50 years, and here for all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Artesia Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has the expertise to install residential, commercial, and industrial air conditioning units, including the conversion of evaporative coolers to refrigerated air systems. Cut cooling costs with high-efficiency Carrier units from Artesia Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, your authorized Carrier dealer. Artesia Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a proud sponsor of the Artesia Bulldogs and our community for over 50 years.
All right, welcome back, Artesia. We're now joined via Zoom by Mr. Aaron Irving. What's up, dude?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. The Lord is good. Blesses me every day. So
Absolutely.
I'm breathing, you know. Hey, let's press forward then. So, oh man, you know, is the world collapsed? You know?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure that the stock market didn't collapse and I missed another, what do they call it? You know, the stock market fall back in the old days. I can't remember. My brain's freezing.
It's another happy day in the market today.
There you go. Good, man. That's good. Hey, you got a good joke to start us off with?
I think it's a good one, so I'll let you decide.
All right, let's put on the judging and see what happens here.
All right. A poker player wins a $1 million first prize in a tournament. He gets interviewed by the press, and the interviewer says, "Congratulations on your win. If you don't mind me asking, how will you spend your $1 million in winnings?" The poker player said, "Well, I owe some money to some people, so I'll be paying my debt to these guys." The interviewer said, "What about the rest?" Poker player thought for a second. "Well, I guess they'll have to wait."
I had a feeling that's where it was going.
Right?
Yep. Pay off my debt, and I'll go get some more somewhere else. So, anyway, hey, why don't you give me a report, and then I've got a few questions for you about some stuff I'm seeing in the media.
All right, I may have answers.
Maybe. I hope you do, because I'm confused by this.
All right. Well, here we go. This is Aaron Irving with LPL Financial, member of FINRA and the SIPC, bringing you your mid-morning stock market report for Thursday, August the 27th. Stocks are higher this morning as the latest earnings reports from NVIDIA and other well-known technology companies boosted sentiment. The tech-heavy NASDAQ composite rose 1.1%, while the S&P 500 gained 0.5%, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average traded about 0.3% higher. NVIDIA shares jumped 7% after it beat analysts' expectations and forecast strong revenue growth. Notably, the chip maker is projected to see revenue growth hit 70% for fiscal 2028, which is far higher than the 44% that analysts surveyed by LSEG expected. Its revenue for the fiscal second quarter more than doubled. More broadly, shares linked to the semiconductor industry rallied, with Broadcom rising 2% and SK Hynix and ARM up 1% and 5% respectively. Intel shares rose more than 1% as well. Salesforce shares rallied 13% after revenue came in ahead of Wall Street's forecast for its second quarter. Software stocks, including Adobe and Autodesk, climbed around 5% each. Within cybersecurity specifically, Okta soared more than 20%, while CrowdStrike gained 17% after surpassing analysts' expectations and raising their outlooks, as those companies see booming demand due to agentic AI. Other cyber stocks, including Palo Alto Networks, rose alongside them, which Palo Alto Networks stock pops 11%. Traders will be preparing for the Federal Reserve's annual symposium in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where Fed Chair Kevin Warsh is expected to deliver a speech tomorrow. Currently, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is 177 points higher at 53,641. The S&P 500 is up 44 points to 7,720. And the NASDAQ Composite is 311 points higher at 26,441. West Texas Intermediate Crude is up 3 cents a barrel at $82.26. Stocks of local interest. HF Sinclair is down $1.05 a share at $95.47. Walmart is $1.56 lower at $102.78 a share. Xcel Energy is down 79 cents a share at $76.90. And Apple is $1.07 higher at $314.52 a share. This is Aaron Irving with Oakley & Irving Wealth Management, serving business owners and energy industry professionals in the Pecos Valley and beyond. You can find us at oiwealth.com or at our offices in Artesia and Carlsbad. You can call us at 575-887-7075. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA, the SIPC.
All right, man. Their numbers don't sound too bad.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Pretty good day. All right. Explain this to me like someone who has a 5th grade understanding of economics. I guess I'm better than that, but not much. So I'm seeing all this, and of course I take everything with a grain of salt when I find it in the media world as, everything's a panic and everything else. But the talk of Japan and China dumping like billions of dollars of bonds and the Fed buying back their own bonds, and like it's going to crash the dollar, and Warren Buffett's selling off billions of dollars worth of stock, and the world's going to end apparently here in the next few weeks. I'm not exactly sure. That's kind of what I'm understanding from social media. So
yeah, there's a couple people that every couple of years they put that same thing out, and
okay,
they usually want to sell a newsletter along with that and try to get about penny stocks. But
that's hilarious. So is it actually happening, or is it nonsense? Like, is China and Japan dumping bonds? And if so, like, what does that mean for us? Like, is that a thing?
They are not.
Okay.
Yeah, they might have sold. If they're selling billions, that's not going to hurt anything, really.
Okay. Yeah, like it's just $1 billion or so. It's not
billions out of 40 trillion is not that big. But,
yeah, I guess if you look at it from that.
But the countries are buying and selling all the time bonds.
Okay.
But China does hold a lot of bonds. Japan does hold a lot of U.S. bonds. The U.S. holds more U.S. bonds than anybody else, or the people.
Gotcha.
Domestically, more U.S. bonds are held than anywhere else. So that is that. If they were to dump all of their holdings of bonds in a day,
yeah,
then that would cause a problem in the market. It wouldn't crash the economy, but it would cause a problem in the market. The Fed would be the emergency buyer, probably.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny. You buy the money that you borrowed.
How do you buy your? There's a lot of days I wish I could buy back my own debt for pennies on the dollar. That'd be great.
Right. But yeah, it's kind of weird and murky in there. But yeah, they're not selling all that they have, and that's a.
Yeah, nobody talks about it in percentages of what they hold versus what they're selling. They just give that big number of billions, and you're like, whoa, well, could this be a thing?
Yeah. You would think that billions of dollars could sink the U.S. economy, but no, billions of dollars are not really a drop in the bucket to the U.S. economy. So
it's kind of like Dr. Evil on that Mike Myers movie, $1 million.
Right.
Like $1 million is not a whole lot now, Dad.
Right.
Okay. I was just wondering because, like I said, your algorithm feeds you, and so lots of times I'm like, oh, look at that. That sounds really important. Let me click on that. And then I think I feed my algorithm my conspiracy theory mind, and it just keeps feeding my conspiracy theory mind.
I get calls from clients, probably, like I say, usually about once every 2 years with a guy named Stansberry, and there's a couple of others out there that are they scare people so people will buy from them.
Yeah.
I always tell them, write down today's date, write down the date that everything is supposed to crash.
Yeah.
You call me on that date and let me know what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then when they call me 2 years later, I say, remember when we had that conversation before?
Yeah. I like, so like the ones I'm all seeing, of course, are pushing people to crypto. Like, yeah. And so most likely if I followed through and actually clicked on all their stuff and everything else, it would probably lead me to a site where I can buy Bitcoin or something,
Probably. They'll probably even manage your crypto wallet.
I bet they will manage my crypto wallet for me, won't they? I guess you gotta take it all into perspective, don't you? You have to look at it and go, all right.
Yeah.
In the bigger scheme of things, is $1 billion that much? Seems like it to me,
Yeah, and a lot of times they might be buying, they might sell, $10 billion of 10-year treasuries and buy $5 billion of 20-year and $5 billion of 5-year. So it could just changing up the mix and.
Well, that's like I saw, the one about Warren Buffett. He's for 14 straight quarters, he's sold off $34 billion worth of stocks. Like, but how many did he buy?
Well, and Warren Buffett, his goal is to donate all of his wealth before he dies. And so selling that, he's actually usually donates shares of Berkshire Hathaway to charities and lets them hold it or sell it or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's not even managing that portfolio anymore. He's got it to Greg Abel. He retired. And so.
So it's not even Warren Buffett then. It's just Warren Buffett's money people,
Stuff,
Yeah. So, all right, man. Well, all right. I feel a lot better. I was really worried. I was about to head to the woods and set up my encampment and, and withdraw from society because the dollar was going to crash and we were all going to starve to death. So
I'm glad I could bring some peace to your world.
Dude, it's so helpful when you just calm me down like that. So, all right, man. Well, thanks for joining us today. You're my only guest today, by the way.
Oh, all right.
It's been the Scott and Jeff hour for the whole show.
and y'all didn't even talk about the New Mexico representative that represented New Mexico in Chicago recently, running naked down hotel hallways.
Oh, I forgot. Thank you for the next segments. I was like, I saw that a few days ago and totally forgot about that story. I'm like, oh, way to go. New Mexico just, way to represent Albuquerque. He's like, well, we do this in Albuquerque. Why can't I do it in Chicago?
Yeah, it's the normal thing in Albuquerque, the Democrat Party. Woo!
Naked people in the streets fighting for our right. Yeah, the window just keeps shifting further. Yeah, I think if the window gets far enough left, it's just going to be, insanity, idiocracy.
Yeah, we definitely released the inmates from the asylum and had them join the Democrat Party for sure.
Now we're running one for governor, so all right.
Yeah, for sure, and we have one.
And we've had one for 8 years, and way to go. Fighting for the right of stupid people to serve as our leaders. So,
right. Diversity and inclusion there.
Yeah, diversity and inclusion of the ignorant. Very good. DEII. So, all right, man. Well, I appreciate you, brother. You have a good week and a great weekend, and I'll see you next Tuesday, man.
All right. Have a great one.
You too, brother. God bless.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. 353 and counting, the death toll from the catastrophic flooding, massive rock and mudslide that swallowed up and swept away entire villages in Nepal along the border with China. At least 1,300 people are missing, with many tourists, including Americans, among them. A military judge has set June 5th of 2028 as the starting date of the trial of an alleged 9/11 mastermind, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. The trial was previously scheduled for 2021, but that was later canceled. Kids under 18 will soon see a lot of changes to their Instagram and Facebook accounts thanks to an historic $18 billion settlement between Meta platforms and 48 states. On Wall Street, the Dow is down about a dozen points, while the Nasdaq is 275 points higher, and the S&P is up 33. More details, srnnews.com.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
You're so for spreading the wealth around and government paid for everything and confiscating people's wealth. Why don't you just donate yours? Which plays right into my statement that I've made for years, and that the left and liberals and these now pro-socialist communist DSA lunatics, they're only generous with your money, with other people's money, not their own money, because they have plenty of money, a lot of them. A lot of these Congress people, a lot of these elected officials, they're millionaires. Bernie Sanders is a millionaire, multiple homes. Bernie, give up your homes. Give up your money. Live by example. Show us the way, Bernie. Show us the way, JB. Show us the way, Hassan. Show us the way to every other DSA member.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
I hope you'll join the hundreds of thousands of people who choose confidence over uncertainty. How more families are turning to Byrna, the world leader in the less lethal personal defense category, because being prepared, that changes everything. All hand assembled in beautiful Fort Wayne, Indiana. Now, their compact launcher is small enough to conceal carry, but powerful enough to help stop any threat from up to 60 feet away. It fires kinetic tear gas pepper rounds that can disable an attacker for up to 40 minutes. Now, that gives you distance, time, and the ability to take control of a dangerous situation without resorting to lethal force. You don't need a background check, you don't need a permit, and it's legal in all 50 states, and they'll ship it right to your door. It's trusted by hundreds of law enforcement and government agencies and families across the country. Now, Byrna gives you more than protection. It gives you confidence, control, and the power to stand ready when it matters most. Visit byrna.com or try before you buy at your local Sportsman's Warehouse location.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty hot today. We're going up to about 100, and it should stay sunny. We have a little system rolling through overnight that may bring us a few showers or thunderstorms, and we're down around 70 on the low. Right back to sunny weather on Friday, upper 90s to about 100. We're expecting highs near 100 on Saturday, and then we get low 100s on Sunday. We'll stay sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
All right, welcome back, Artesia. We got about 10 minutes to close the show out. I'll invite Jeff back in here, and we'll close this thing up for the day, and it'll be a show. Hey, I was looking through my feed for interesting stuff in New Mexico and came across a post by Rod Martin. And Rod, he's talking about the upcoming elections and everything else, and trying to get people motivated and getting them voting and everything else. And one of the things he points out is, most people that are on the Republican side or on the conservative side, they're not motivated because they can't even look at what good has come out of electing this current administration, right? Like name 3 things good that Trump has done, right? Can most people do that? Right? Most people are like, I don't know. I think it's because we're politically disconnected.
Yeah.
Right back to that thing about smotherment of church, and it was like, well, you shouldn't have politics. Hey, like people just most people, I think, just like throw politics out the window completely, and they really don't pay a lot of attention. Even if they go vote, they might go vote, but they like, other than that, they aren't paying a lot of attention to it.
Well, and part of what he was saying, it kind of reminded me of when Obama, during his election season, where they were discussing pulling the 501c from churches if they discussed the election.
Yeah.
When they were like, okay, if any church if you start talking about the election, you're no longer a church.
Yeah,
we're pulling everything away.
There's one of the accomplishments of Trump. He has pulled back any regulation that what a church can say.
Yeah.
Right? They knocked that out of the federal IRS code that said that we as churches can't be politically active.
Right.
Right. So if I want to have Greg Cunningham come down to our church service and be there and promote him from our pulpit, I can.
Yeah.
And nobody can say a thing.
In the late 90s, I was at church in Phoenix when Alan Keyes announced he was running for president from the pulpit.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay, this church might be a little too big for me. The young adult group was larger than any church
that you'd ever been.
Yeah. And
that's
but once he announced it and I got home and it was on Fox News.
Yeah.
An hour and a half later, I'm like, okay, this church is too big.
This is a bit much for me. Yeah, I was just looking through, and he offers a list of 25 things. I'm not going to run through them all. Border and migration.
Mm-hmm.
He stopped the mass migration into the country by shutting down the border. The Lake and Riley Act, where it requires detention of criminal illegal aliens. This one was interesting. Biggest drop in violent crime and the lowest violent crime rate in 126 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty astounding, ladies and gentlemen. Like, to think about that. Murder fell by 18%, robbery fell by 18%, and America's violent crime is at the lowest since 1900.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy.
And have you seen is it libel or something, when they had, I'm trying to think of what news agency, and I think it might have been a government official who said that crime in DC hasn't changed, that it's just as bad as before Trump sent in, and was very loud and was on the news, very big about, this is all a waste. No, it's not. So they throw out the documents and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, your murder rate dropped from this.
Yeah.
We arrested 7,382, whatever, and
right.
Like, it's where are you even getting this data that you are claiming?
Yeah. This one was cool. He's repealed 129 regulations for every new one they've added.
Yeah.
Since in fiscal 2025, federal agencies finalized 646 deregulatory actions and only added 5.
That's awesome.
Yes, that's conservatism.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. And so as we're coming forward into this election season, people need to be thinking it's not a person. And yes, it's Trump and he's driving it, but these are some conservative agendas that we want driven. And we got to have a conservative person in there to drive these things.
Yeah.
And so I go, okay, that's, and here's the deal. You might choose the conservative person and they get up there and they don't follow through with this. Well, then you hold them
accountable.
Yeah. Like, look, dude, you said you were this and you didn't do it. You can be gone the next go around.
Yeah.
Right. We're not going to play this game. We want someone with actual backbone to lead.
That's one of the things that got me really involved with Americans for Prosperity and Libertarian is the one of the biggest aspects I found that they're against are the regulations.
Yeah.
It's, and there was something we were working on, I think it had to do with when the medical stuff was going on of, okay, you're licensed in Texas, but we're no longer going to let you do it in New Mexico and all this. And it's like, okay, to get a license to cut someone's hair,
yeah,
you have to pay this.
Yeah.
To do this, you have to pay that. just to do this, even though you don't use it whatsoever, you have to pay.
Yeah.
And so they're like, let's get rid of this. Elon spoke about it, why he moved the rockets.
Yeah. Now I know why the Artesia wasn't on the radio. She's outside measuring the sidewalks for red dirt black hole. This one was interesting. America now outproduces, so he shifted global energy dominance from Persian Gulf to Gulf of America. America now outproduces Saudi and Arabia and Russia combined. We're now the central of oil and liquid natural gas. We're the first country to ever export more than 100 million metric tons of liquid natural gas in a single year. After 4 decades of nuclear paralysis. So a new nuclear plant has not come online in 40 years. Since Trump took office, there's been 5.
Awesome. I'm sorry, but nuclear power it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you have the things like the Fukushima reactor meltdown, but that's, things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's still cleaner than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, like you want clean energy. Nuclear is the way to go,
Yeah, and you see it flying over the Midwest, Great Lakes area, you can see some nuclear reactors, and then in Europe, flying over Europe, you see them.
Yeah. I debate this one. He got men out of women's sports and restored biological reality to federal policy. I don't know that he's actually done that.
It hasn't.
It's. Did you see Ennis? Was how you say his first name? Canner? I can't remember. Ennis Canner or whatever. Get kicked out of the WNBA game the other day.
It's now going into litigation.
Oh yeah.
His lawyers have started the litigation for it because the president said that neither of them are allowed to play. And it's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, according to your rules, so now it's like they're going to force them in court to define what a woman is.
Because it was Canner and another one. They're like, yeah, we want to play in the WNBA too.
Well, and one of them, I can't remember which one of them is running for a seat in Congress.
Canner is.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, dude, that's the best ad campaign.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff. And it's not about like, oh, what this one guy did. Like we all too often just put it on one guy. We do this in churches too. Like, oh, look at that one great preacher. He's so no, it's the principles that the person is espousing. It's the principles that are behind the ideology that this person brings to the table.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we should be glorifying, right? Paul himself said, I don't boast in anything except Christ crucified on the cross.
Yeah.
And that's where we've got to set. As a politician is hold up Christ first and the Constitution second. But I don't stand on any principle that's mine. I'm just here telling you what Scripture says, and I'm telling you what the Constitution says, and I'm going to hold these two up.
Yeah.
These are the two documents in my life that I'm going to stand upon. Right. The law is king, and I'm not
for God and country.
Yeah. And I just. Anyway, all right, Artesia. Well, Jeff, thank you for
You're welcome.
Keeping me online today. If I had talked that long by myself, it would have gone down some crazy rabbit holes.
But when we were messaging last night and figuring out we don't have any guests, I know you couldn't. I couldn't get any. I was like, oh, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. All right.
Even it's like Scott and I can speak. The stroke and seizure show. It's we can do.
All right, Artesia. Thank you so much. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for Gene. God bless and have a great weekend.
Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward & Son Insurance Agency. Auto and home, life and health, personal and commercial.